We are officially live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AdamCastIRL show. Today I have a special guest with me. It's my first guest ever. Welcome to the show, Carlin.
Thank you for having me, Adam.
This is Karlyn Borysenko, and I have met her. Well, I just met you today.
Just in person.
Officially, I met you in person, but I have been communicating and following her for a few months now on Twitter. You've actually helped me understand some things that I talked on AdamCastIRL, and it's been a great pleasure to get to know you today.
I'm so excited to be here. I've been a fan of yours, and
Thank
I think
you.
We have very similar stories, so
Yes,
I'm
we
excited
do.
to talk about them.
Yes, we do indeed. We're going to be talking about who she is, where she's from, what she's been through, the stuff that she's researched, and your doctorate, right?
Yeah.
Doctor. She is a doctor. And we're going to talk about the Walk Away campaign that we actually did today. Here's a little poster of what we did. This was Rescue America, the Walk Away in Philadelphia. We were actually just there. We drove here. We got here like 30 minutes ago. Just like, all right, let's get ready for the show. So it was a lot of fun, and we both did our speeches, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was such a great crowd.
Thanks to Brandon Strock, who let us both. Well, you've been on the train for a little bit, the Walk Away train, I guess, and they let me speak today, which is really wonderful. And honestly, thanks to you.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate that. So before we get started, there's something I need you to do.
Uh-oh.
These are Hulk hands. Now, a wonderful fan of mine has sent these to me. I'm gonna need you to put these on.
Uh-oh.
You're gonna have to
I get to
something.
put on the hands?
Yeah, you got to do something.
Oh my
for me
goodness.
Here. All right, so here you go. Put those on.
Okay.
And I'm gonna bring this in for you. It's very, very important here.
These are very complicated.
This is super, super important that you must smash this like button.
There we go.
No, one more. All right, that was wonderful. Thank you. It just wouldn't feel right. That is a new tradition that we have now at AdamCastIRL. The smasheth of the like button. My guests shall always smash the like buttons, and it's going to be great. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I really appreciate a lot of you are here, and this is great. So let's get into it. Let's talk about you.
Okay, let's do it.
So tell me about yourself. Where are you from?
Oh, God. Well, I was born in Vermont and, grew up there all my life. And then I went to school, at college eventually in Boston. I went to BU. I studied communications with public relations, which public relations back then is so different than public relations now. It's crazy.
How so?
Well, it's just like, I remember I was thinking about this the other day. I found one of my old college textbooks, and it was like about new media in public relations, where they're like, oh, you have to have a website and you have to do all this stuff.
That's
and
a
it's
good point. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, they were starting to teach this stuff back then, but so I did that for a couple years, and then I graduated, and then went to work in college admissions.
Fun.
Of all things.
Very exciting.
Well, college admissions is fun because when you're younger, you get to travel around, you get to go to college fairs, and so many relationships and marriages happen from people who meet at college fairs.
Interesting.
And it's just like a giant party because you've got all these young kids that are all doing this, and they're all hating doing these college fairs, but they all get together and they all know each other.
So wait, you weren't working at one college? You were working.
No.
You were traveling around.
Well, I was working at Norwich University in Vermont, which is actually like a military school, which is a whole other weird thing.
Interesting. Yeah.
No, so I was traveling around doing that, and then at some point while I was working at Norwich, I decided to get my MBA, and they had an MBA program. I thought, well, why not? Like, it's free because I'm working there.
Oh, that's nice.
So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and then I worked in higher education for quite a while, actually. I worked at Dartmouth. I worked at Southern New Hampshire University. I worked for different vendors at service colleges and things like that. And I had to tell you, it's actually really amazing to me right now to look and see what's happening at higher education, because it was not like that when I was working in it. I mean, even 10 years ago, it's gone off the cliff now. We can talk about that.
I definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But let's stay on you though. Keep telling us your path.
Yeah. So when I was working at Dartmouth, they had a director of professional development on staff that was an organizational psychologist. And working in higher education, I'd always kind of wanted to do a PhD. It was more of like a self-actualization exercise than it was of any function. And I thought, oh, psychology and you work with businesses, and that sounds cool. And she kind of took me under her wing and mentored me and just taught me a lot about how to navigate office politics and how to work with people, because I sucked at that. I sucked so bad. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll go back to school for that. And so I did my PhD. I did it part-time while I was working full-time.
Okay.
And so it took a long time. It took like 7 years. But eventually I finished. My PhD is in psychology, but with a focus on industrial organizational psychology.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and essentially have spent the last several years. I mean, really, I started my practice in 2012 part-time, and then 2015 I went full-time with my business, and I've just been traveling around the country doing workplace trainings.
Wow.
And I teach people how to communicate, how to navigate different interpersonal situations, but also mindfulness is a very big thing for me.
Awesome.
And so I wrote a whole book about how to integrate mindfulness strategies at work to reduce your stress, get along better with people, even with difficult people to work with, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of just a little bit of my backstory and how I ended up here.
Sorry, I just realized you're not Ian Crossland.
Oh, I am not Ian Crossland, as it turns out.
That was sorry about that. That was from earlier. And as I said, we kind of walked away from the walkaway rally.
Came right here.
Come right here. We were a little unprepared. Not necessarily. We're ready. I mean, we're just hanging out. So this is wonderful.
Yeah.
But I want to actually. You mentioned that how higher education is different nowadays than it was back then. I mean, how close are you to even being a part of higher education still nowadays?
I am not really a part of it at all. Every once in a while, I would do trainings for colleges, and oh my gosh, like the dirt I could tell you about how, because when I do a training for a team, it's usually an executive team. So I'm usually going in and working with very senior people. They've all lost their minds. They really have. So I really try very hard not to do work in higher education, to be honest, unless it's like a one and done. Okay. Because if you're in it for too long, it's like higher education is like this little cult where most of the people who work in it have worked in it forever and have never done anything else. And so, and it was fine for a while, but right around, I would say 2013, 2014, I started watching my friends in higher education go insane.
That's interesting. It's around that same time, 2013, 2012, there was a spike of news talking about racism and this whole like dividing everybody, into different groups that were all different now, separating everyone. And it's funny that you say that in higher education in 2013, 2014, it really started to saturate everywhere, so, and man, like we talk about schools nowadays and how they indoctrinate kids into these weird ideologies. And really at the root of it all, it's just dividing everybody, you know? And it's a sad thing, seeing all that happening.
It really is. But at the same time, what a lot of people don't talk about in higher ed is the staff as well. And that's honestly my direct link because I was in higher ed for so long, all of my friends were higher ed. And I mean, people don't think about it, but colleges, there are faculty at colleges, there are students at colleges, but there are thousands of staff members in every possible position.
Not just teachers,
just administrators or people just doing, everyday jobs. I mean, you got people working in the library, people working in the dining halls, people doing marketing or IT or accounting or things like that. And it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago that people that I had known for a really long time, almost like 10 years, just started turning into these shells of themselves.
Interesting.
Where you couldn't even have a conversation with them anymore. And they would just be like, Carlin, just shut up and listen to black people. That's what you need to do. And I was like, well, I don't think that shutting up is ever a good idea if you're trying to understand something. You need to be able to ask questions and
I agree with you there.
Have a conversation. And they're like, no, just shut up. I was like, okay.
It's our time to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's something that I've been dealing with a lot. I was told the same thing when I, originally just let my friends know, hey, I'm voting for Trump. If you want to know about it, come talk to me. A lot of people, I started getting hit up by people I don't even talk to anymore, that I haven't spoken to in over 15 years, come at me and basically say, like, look, you don't get a voice. You have to just shut up and listen. And it's like, how are we supposed to move forward together to become united without all talking to each other? I'm all for listening. I want to hear your side of things. But if you don't want to hear my side of things and don't want my input on it, how are we supposed to move forward? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. And a lot of people seem to have forgotten that that's what a relationship is.
Yeah, good point.
It's you say something and then I say something and we have a back and forth.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to do in terms of just shut up and listen to me.
Yep.
I mean, I just don't know what they even hope to achieve with that, if I'm honest.
That's a good point. Like what? Well, I could make a guess. They wanna. It's their way or the highway, as the saying goes. And you can tell in how they're. I'm using the term they, and it's always the Democrats. It feels like they're the ones who are really taking the charge of this kind of attitude where no, you don't get to talk. Oh, you don't believe what we believe? Okay, then you're outright banned.
Right.
We got to just get rid of you because you're not supposed to exist. And the fact that you do exist proves our whole narrative wrong. And it's like, oh, come on. Like, you guys they're trying to be the ones that are all for unifying us all, and it's literally they're the ones that are dividing us the most.
It's so true. And I think the minute that you realize that and you wake up and you see what's going on, because I'll be honest, I'll be the first to say that my brain was shut off to all this stuff for a really long time. I remember I was actually, oh my gosh, these stories are coming back to me now that I'm thinking about it. I haven't thought about it in a long time, but when I was working in college admissions, so college admissions is like, it's not the hardest job in the world, right? So I
paperwork.
Yeah, it's like paperwork and phone calls and stuff like that. But so I had some extra time when I was working in it, and so I started blogging about politics because when I first started, W was in office. I hated W.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I hated him so much.
Did you?
Now, back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, but MySpace. This was when
I remember MySpace.
Well, MySpace actually had a very powerful blogging platform associated with it, and they had categories and they had ratings, and so I was actually back in the day one of the top political bloggers on MySpace, just ranting about how much I hated W all the time. It was always like in their top 10 of like political blogs, and so I was doing that every day. And then Obama got elected, and I was like, ugh. Society is saved. I don't need to think about this anymore. And my brain shut off.
You know.
I know. Well, my brain just shut off for 8 years. And then I woke up and I was like, what happened? Where
where are we?
Where did we go wrong?
Yeah, without going into the whole walkaway movement, which we're going to get into, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned you wrote a book.
Yeah.
What's the name of your book?
My book is called Zen Your Work.
Zen Your Work.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
It's basically about how to take different mindfulness techniques in terms of being aware of what's going on in your mind with your perspective, your body, and your context, and also being in the present moment and trying to, and it applies them to the workplace. And when people think of mindfulness, they usually think of like meditation.
Yeah.
And meditation is absolutely a part of it, but my book really focuses on how can you do other techniques to really maintain your perspective, to make sure that you're coming in and you're positive and you're optimistic and you're trying to build those bridges with your coworkers. And so it just goes through all these different scenarios in the office and different exercises you can use to make work a better place to be. Because I originally became an organizational psychologist because I hated my job.
Yeah.
And it wasn't what I was doing. It was the people, and it was the nonsense.
Yeah, because you don't really ever get a choice on who you're working with for the most part. Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
Like right now, I got to choose to have you on my show today.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful. But sometimes you don't have that, and you can get stuck with some a-hole that might be good at the job, but is just the worst person ever.
Yeah.
And that just sucks.
Or, sometimes it starts off and it's in a really good place, and it doesn't always end in a really good place, And so that's what my book is about teaching people how to manage those different types of situations because here's the thing, like we spend so much time at work with our colleagues, we shouldn't be miserable.
Good point, yeah.
You're always in control. You're not always in control of what other people do to you, but you are always in control of your perspective and what you bring to the situation.
I'm clapping right now.
Yay.
If you can hear me. This is awesome. This is the kind of talk that I think needs to be a class in school. Like, high school's class of just mindfulness and understanding how you can affect others and how they can affect you, and that's not really a thing, you know. Is
Right.
it on the parents, or it should be a part of a class? I mean, you know, I guess that's a whole nother conversation,
Well,
honestly.
it's actually funny that you mentioned this because I was at the Better Discourse conference last
that?
week, and it's just this conference where they bring people together of different persuasions to have rational conversations.
Oh, I want a piece of that.
Oh
That
my
sounds
God!
great.
You have to come to the next one because
Yeah.
it was incredible. It really, I mean, there were people on there that you would never think would be able to engage in a productive conversation, but they did.
Cool.
But they put me on the panel about racial equality, and I'm like, great. They're putting the pasty white girl on the racial equality panel with the progressive black guy.
Okay.
I was like, nothing could go wrong with this plan. But in researching for the conference, I basically found a series of articles talking about meditation programs that have been instituted in inner city public schools.
Interesting.
Specifically in Baltimore.
Okay.
And so what they do is they go in and they teach all of these kids how to do deep breathing, and they do yoga, and they
Awesome.
do it twice a day.
That's great.
And then, but the best part is when the kids get in trouble, they don't go to detention. They go to the mindfulness room.
Interesting.
And they do deep breathing, and they learn how to work through the conflict and how to control themselves rather than
Wow.
getting a punishment. And
Wow.
in the process of doing this, misbehavior and suspensions have gone to zero in
It's
these
a zero.
to zero suspensions.
Wow.
And attendance has gone way up.
Amazing.
It's like if we just did that
Yeah.
in every school, what a difference that would make.
Right, I agree. I mean, man, I'm so sick of it's the teacher's fault. No, it's the parents' fault. It's like, okay, well, we can all take a step back and just and think there's something that we can just do different.
Right.
Let's stop placing blame
Yeah.
on anyone, whatever. It doesn't matter. The problem exists. Okay, and wow, that's amazing. So if they're I've seen this. I believe in Iceland they were doing something like this.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to know that they're implementing it in schools in America. That's great to hear, honestly, because it's one thing that I've been annoyed about America in general is the education system. I think it's totally flawed. I think they're teaching the wrong things, especially lately when we're finding out about how they're teaching, 5-year-olds that the world's a racist place when I don't believe that. I just don't.
No, they're indoctrinating little activists.
Yes.
And the fact that, thank God that so many kids are being homeschooled, that
Yeah.
parents are now seeing this.
Yes.
Because that, to me, of all of the problems and challenges that we have to overcome that has gotten our society to this chaotic state that we're in,
Yeah.
the education system is actually the thing that terrifies me the most.
Yeah.
Because it has taken decades to get to this place.
Yeah. Decades.
And it's kind of like gaining and losing weight, right? You don't gain weight overnight. You aren't going to lose it overnight. Well,
it takes longer to lose it.
That's even more scary, isn't
Right,
it?
right.
So we've gotten to this place, and now we need to lose the weight,
And it's going to take a while. I mean,
know,
yeah, exactly.
that's crazy.
I agree. I think there is a big part of me. I am optimistic. I always try to look at the optimistic side of things. So I always want to figure out the way through. And I do feel like you compared it to, gaining weight and losing weight, and it's easier to gain weight. It's harder to lose weight. But I feel like something with the internet becoming more a part of our daily lives. I mean, we are shifting in our mind state as far as humanity goes. And I feel like back 20 years ago, it would have taken a lot longer to lose the weight, as it were. Whereas now, we are so connected. We have a lot of people even here now just, listening, wanting to further themselves. And I think we're at this point where a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are realizing, like you said, the parents are homeschooling their kids now, and they're like, what is this homework that you've got? That's insane. You're not learning that. We're going to do something different now. And, the school choice options coming up, charter schools is a thing. It's like teachers actually have to be accountable if their students are bad. They don't get as many classes. You have to if you're a good teacher, you get paid more. And it's like, I'm all about this kind of stuff.
Oh, I remember even just like 5 years ago, I was completely against school choice.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we should be making investments in education to improve things for everyone. This shouldn't be an issue. But now I'm completely in favor of school choice because the thing of it is like you have to save the kids you can.
Yeah.
And the ones that that, you know, have parents that are engaged, that are forcing their kids to make that choice. I mean, I think that saving a smaller portion of kids from the crazy education system is, at least it's something. And maybe it's not the perfect solution, but it's one of those things that's like, we're trying to mitigate the nonsense that's going on right now.
Yeah, true. And then you got to think about, it's never one thing. You know, it's not like we're going to get rid of everything and then school choice is like the only thing we have now. You know, when you just brought up that in Baltimore, was it?
Baltimore.
In the inner schools that they're doing these, I mean, man, attendance is shooting up. Detentions and suspensions are down to 0. Like, that's incredible.
Right.
So why couldn't we implement all of these things and just generally bring up everything across the board? Like, it's everyone always likes to put blame on one thing. They always try to do, this is the only answer, this is the only thing, and that's it's never just one thing. It never is that easy. Nothing is that easy.
No.
So I mean, hearing that, it's really cool. All right, so let's go back. It's 2015.
Yes.
You got your doctorate. You went full time with your job now.
Yep.
So tell me about what you're doing here.
So when I was full time with my business, I was essentially traveling around doing a lot of corporate trainings and consulting and that sort of thing, and essentially trying to make better workplaces. So implementing these ideas like mindfulness, like different communication techniques in teams in all sorts of different organizations.
Okay.
And the thing about this sort of stuff, and I would also be a person that I would come in. It's actually an incredibly fun job to do because I usually will be coaching multiple people in the organization one-on-one.
Okay.
And it kind of feels like being a puppet master in the organization. Because if I'm coaching people, usually there are interpersonal problems at play.
Yeah.
So I'm like coordinating all of like the apologies and the makeup tours. I'm like, here's what you need to do. You need to go to this person and say this person and say this. You need to take this person out for a beer. And it's like, it's serious work, and I do take it very seriously, but it's also kind of like, I'm like a master of the universe here. It's amazing.
It sounds a little bit like reality TV too.
Oh my God. It's so reality TV.
You think you could do like a, I don't know, some sort of inner workplace drama book eventually? Just leave no names out, but all the juiciest stories that you've had to deal with.
Well, you know what's funny is one of the clients, they were actually, I worked with this client for a very long time, and they were actually one of the earlier ones that I was doing this puppet master thing with coaching many different people in the organization. One of the people I coached there is a current contestant on Big Brother.
Really?
Yeah. He had been on Big Brother before, and but because it's All-Stars this season, so he's come back, and he's a current contestant now. And I was like, oh, if you don't use the things I spent months teaching you, you are going to hear about it from me.
So are you watching? Are you watching him?
I need to catch up. I'm delayed because I'm doing all these walkaway rallies, right? Yeah. So I'm like traveling around. It's very busy, but I do need to catch up. I hear he has not gotten evicted yet.
Okay.
So
he's doing good.
He's doing good. So fingers crossed.
That's fun. All right. So, I mean, I want to talk about walkaway because that's what you're doing now, right?
I mean, I'm doing a lot of walkaway stuff now. Yeah.
So, I mean, let's talk about walkaway. So, for those wondering, if you didn't see this earlier, this is the campaign that I actually joined in today. There's my face. That's an old picture of me in New York, but it's kind of funny. But here's Carlin right here, and we both were speaking today at this event. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of people that came out, and Brandon Strock was fantastic. It was great to meet him, and actually everyone that was speaking was great. YG was fantastic. Mike Harlow is hilarious. Chandler is an incredible man.
Chandler's gonna be president.
15 years old. He is political and active, and what a refreshing mind to meet him, and that was great. And then also I got to give it up to Linda. You can't see her. I'll shift it over there. There's Linda Catalina. She was really great too. I mean, it was some awesome speakers today, and essentially what it was is all of us at some point or other became aware and realized that the Democrats aren't the party of justice and equality, and I mean, how else would you describe it, you know?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think, you know, at some point there was a realization that these are not people to align with. They're not interested in fairness. They're not interested in justice. They're not even interested in making the world a better place. They're interested in destruction.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it seems
really
like.
Are. I mean, fundamentally, I think there are two types of people in the world. There are creators and destroyers. Mm-hmm. And creators they're people that build things and they give value to the world. And that doesn't need to be through business. It could just be through being a good human being and helping people out and supporting people. These people are destroyers. They just want to break everything down.
Or not necessarily even break things down, but definitely fill their own pockets.
Yes.
And make them. I mean, look at the hypocrisy that's happening with Mayor Lightfoot, for example. You know, the rioting has been going in Chicago. There's been shootings every single day. People are getting shot. Homicides are going up through the roof. And they show up on her block, and she goes, "Oh no, I'm calling. The police are coming in, and you can't be on my block."
That's insane.
She goes out and has a press conference saying, "It doesn't matter. I have every right to keep myself safe. I get death threats." And it's like, but the city of Chicago's burning. Like, you're not doing anything against anything that's going on. Only when it reaches your block do you finally choose to make a difference. It just blows me away.
If that's not a wake-up call about the hypocrisy of their leaders to the people of Chicago, I don't know what is. And frankly, what really flabbergasts me is they're still going to vote for her.
Are they?
I mean, I hope not, but
I need to see some proof that they're going to vote for her, because as far as I'm concerned, every Democratic mayor from, California, Portland, de Blasio, I'm talking about Wheeler in Portland, and I can't think of the Seattle mayor, but man, these mayors are just letting their cities burn to the ground to prove a point.
Yeah.
That they're and then of course they've said, how dare Trump, like how dare he, I don't know what they're, honestly it doesn't make any sense, because you're literally letting it burn. He's saying, I'll help you.
Right.
I'll send in agents to just say the word. I'll help you. The whole thing in Chicago, she's like, no, we don't need your help. We don't want your help. Like, stay out. But, oh yeah, and stay off my block too, rioters.
Yeah. But it's all still Trump's fault. Even though they were like, no, Trump, stay away.
I know, yeah. It's ridiculous.
The man can do no right.
No, he can't. So tell me about your walkaway story.
Oh, my walkaway story. Well, it's a little complex. So it actually starts with knitting. Knitting right
and
here.
You actually are knitting.
I am knitting. Ooh, if I don't bang the microphone.
That's all right. I'm sure people will forgive you.
No, so it started with knitting because knitting is my hobby. It's what I do all the time.
Yeah.
When I'm not doing stuff like this. And
so you're actually knitting while doing this.
I will be in a second.
There you go.
So about a year and a half ago, social justice started taking over my knitting community. And it was like a lot of people in knitting, we post our stuff on Instagram, we post our yarn and our projects and stuff like that. Well, these social justice warriors just came and started bullying and harassing absolutely everyone. And the same thing that's happened in a million other communities, right?
I know. Why are they the bullies?
It's like, and I'm knitting, of all things. It's yarn and needles. Like, this is not complicated.
It's also not political.
It's not political. And I mean, really, it kind of made headlines. The biggest headline it made was when Ravelry, which is the main knitting site on the internet, it's like all the patterns are on Ravelry.
Yeah.
They banned all support for Donald Trump.
Really?
And I was actually, I have to admit, because I was still I was very, very lefty at that point. I was very vote blue no matter who. And I was like, this is great. Get politics off my knitting site. I just don't, because I was like, I don't care. I didn't care about Trump. I was like, I was kind of like, well, they should ban all politics if they're going to do it. But I was taking what I could get at that point.
Okay.
But it actually, like, even before that, there were major, like knitting celebrities that got bullied, and there are knitting celebrities. There really are.
Never heard of that before. But okay.
I'll teach you yet. But they were just getting bullied and harassed if they said the wrong thing, or if they named their pattern the wrong thing. Or there was this one designer. Oh, check this out. There was one designer that she just didn't say anything. She did not make a statement. Well, that didn't go over well.
Wow. So you can't even not say anything.
You're not allowed not to say, because if you don't say anything, you're complicit.
Well, silence is violence.
Silence is words are also violence.
Everything's violence now.
Everything is violence.
Oh, man.
And so I actually had done my doctoral dissertation about workplace bullying. And so I knew what bullying looked like, and I was like, this is insanity.
Yep.
And so one day I just posted on my Instagram the definition of the term bullying, which is essentially like, you're going after someone who doesn't have the power to defend themselves, which is, of course, what happens when you have the social justice mob coming after you. There's nothing you can do to defend yourself.
Nope.
Oh, they didn't like that too much.
Just you simply posting the definition.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, and I tagged all their little knitting hashtags. I was trying to start. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to start something.
Okay. You didn't say that. So you instigated a little bit.
I can be a little bit of an instigator. I can. When something upsets me, I just want to drop them like boop.
All right. Well, I mean, it sounds like they kind of deserved it if they were getting to the point where they were bullying people for even not saying anything.
No, they totally deserved it. And the thing was, the reason I spoke up was because I was in a position to.
Yeah.
Because people a lot of people in the knitting community, they make their money from knitting. They have yarn stores or they sell patterns or things like that. And so there was no way they could destroy my business.
Okay.
So I was like, I can speak up and other people can't. But I was still scared. Don't get me wrong, because I had seen what had happened to other people and I did it anyway.
But at this time, you were still vote blue no matter who.
I was
you were still anti-Trump, anti-red, whatever.
And I was even going, so this is also around when the Democratic primary was going on in New Hampshire, because in New Hampshire, the candidates come like a year before they go anywhere else. They're in New Hampshire a good solid, year, 2 years, up to 2 years before the primary. And so I get the chance to see everyone. And so the candidates were coming. I was very much vote blue no matter who, vote blue no matter who. I'd gone to every candidate event. I'd seen every person running for president, and I was like, okay, I mean, we've got contenders in the field. I was nervous though, because Biden, from the very beginning, from the first time I saw him in September, I saw him at the New Hampshire State Democratic Convention.
Okay.
It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. Dude gets up there and he's slurring his words.
Oh man.
And he's not making sense.
This was
last year.
2019.
Yeah.
In October.
And like you can't even make the argument that he's tired or anything, because he was literally like right out the gate first thing in the morning. And so I saw that and I was like, oh, it better not be Biden.
Yeah.
I was worried at that point, but I was a Buttigieg supporter at that point because Pete Buttigieg became Robot Pete later in the primary.
Yeah, I remember watching him a little bit in the beginning. He was, I didn't mind. I liked Pete. He wasn't that bad. Tulsi Gabbard was pretty cool. Yang had some good ideas. But continue, please.
Yeah, so I mean, I was basically following all this stuff, and at the same time that this was going on, my higher education friends were losing their minds. And so it's kind of like this perfect confluence of events where I just started to question things. And at some point I discovered this YouTube channel, which was really the only channel that was covering any of the knitting stuff, called Unsafe Space.
And I've heard of that.
Oh yeah, Carrie Smith, she actually just wrote an article, I think last week, like liberals voting for Trump.
I actually referenced her article today. I saw you in the crowd. You were like, yeah, Carrie.
Yeah.
But it was a really good article. I read it and I was like, man, that resonates with me. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, Unsafe Space is the best, because what they've done on that channel is they've broken down what the social justice ideology is.
Yeah.
Because Carrie was a social justice warrior for 20 years. So she
right.
really breaks it down and explains everything. And once it was laid out, it's so easy to see what's going on. It's
so
like,
true.
Yeah, that's what's going on. And so they really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And at the same time, I started trying to challenge myself to break outside my echo chamber and started listening to people that I disagreed with. A shocking idea, apparently, because all my friends was like, Carlin, no, don't do it. Don't watch that Ben Shapiro video, Carlin. Don't do it.
We're going to lose you.
We're going to lose you. And my husband at the same time, it's so funny how this works out, because my husband and I never talked about politics.
Oh, really?
Never. It's just he just didn't care. He's like, I would have MSNBC on and he'd be like playing video games or something.
Okay.
It just didn't come up.
Yeah.
And he kind of started telling me, he's like, Carlin, I think I'm more conservative than you think I am. And I was like, we've been married for 9 years. What's going on?
Oh, no.
And so, and it just kind of culminated with me going to a Trump rally, which was on the eve of the New Hampshire primary. And I was expecting, I didn't really know what to expect. I think I had seen enough to know that the media was lying.
Yeah.
But to actually go and to see what happens at a Trump rally, and to see that it's just people that are just having a good time, that are good people, that are just like so excited and so patriotic. And I had actually been to a big Democratic Party event 2 days before the Trump rally in exactly the same place, and everyone's angry and they're doom and gloom and Trump is bad and the world is ending and all this stuff, and it was just so miserable to be there. And the Trump rally is like super fun.
That sounds terrible.
And so I was like,
the Democratic Party.
oh my god.
Not
and
the
like
Trump rally.
Well, you know what was funny is like the Democrats were actually like fighting each other at
really?
that, because I was in the Pete Buttigieg section and we were literally getting in shouting matches with the Bernie section.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was like shouting back and forth at each other.
Is the Bernie section really Democrats though? They're pretty much open socialists. Like, right?
No, they are. It was funny too because like at the Democratic thing, like all these celebrities were at it. So Michael Moore is like leading the charge in the Bernie section. It's just like the most surreal thing ever. But I'm just looking around. I'm like, what are you people doing? This is nuts. And so after the Trump rally, I wrote an article about it, just about my experience, not thinking anyone would ever read it. Except maybe my lefty friends, who I kind of wanted to stick it to them a little bit.
Yeah.
And it ended up going viral on the internet, and I got like shoved into doing all this stuff, kind of booted out of the closet, kicking and screaming, I suppose. And I guess that was my big walk away story.
Yeah,
and
wow.
you know, Brandon I actually mentioned walk away in my original article, and Brandon actually was one of the first people that reached out to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like instant, and he talked to me, and he was like offered any help he could, and just such a great guy, so genuine. Like a lot of people think that, you know, he's fake or is like never been a Democrat or anything. He is one of the most genuine, kind human beings that I have met in a really long time, and so I'm grateful for that.
Well, I could say today I met Brandon, and he is a fantastic guy, very nice. All day. You know, it's funny you mentioned, you know, the Trump rally. Everybody that was showing up today at the rally was awesome people.
Yeah.
I mean, the speakers and the people that were just there to listen to everybody speak. Everyone was awesome. Everyone was smiling. You can tell that everyone just wants unity. You know, they want us to be together and happy, and they were all about it, you know, and it was shout out to everyone that did come out today, because it really was awesome, you know. And and I guess my walkaway story, I feel like most people that follow me now know my story, you know. You a lot of you probably watched me join the TimCastIRL show, and I was very ignorant in politics. I didn't know anything about it. You know, I was a video gamer. You know, I was a model back in the day. I, you know, tended to just work hard when I needed to, and then chill and, you know, escape in a game or whatnot. Sometimes I would read, but it doesn't matter. I was not political, and I was just one of those default Democrats, thinking that Democrats were the ones who were really fighting for us. And the more I talked with Tim, the more I realized, because he's very knowledgeable about everything that's going on, and I started doing my own research so I can actually communicate better with him. And man, was it a red pill, full on red pill. I made a smoothie and just drank it down. And I mean, I can't close my eyes to it. You know, now I see, you know, I started listening to Trump's actual speeches and seeing how the news spun it in a way that it isn't accurate. Like even Joe Biden's speech on Thursday, he referenced the whole Charlottesville thing, you know, about there's good people on either side. And it's like, that's fake news.
That's a lie.
He's putting fake news in his speech that's literally hate. And it's like, that is spreading more of a division, because that's anyone who is a Biden supporter. Like, for example, my friends who are blue no matter who, just because I started voting for Trump, they're like, oh, so you're supporting someone who supports neo-Nazis. And it's like, go watch the speech yourself. Go watch the speech yourself, and if you haven't watched the speech, you can't say that, because it's not true.
Well, and they'll never do it. They will never watch the things you send them, because it creates too much cognitive dissonance.
Yep.
I mean, I remember the night that I came out of the Trump rally, and I was sitting in my car, and I actually had a headache.
Really?
The cognitive dissonance was so bad. I was like, I cannot compute what I just experienced with what MSNBC has been telling me for years and years and years. It was really bad. And I remember texting my coach and my friend Joshua, and he was like, well, Carlin, like, this is you saw the truth.
Yep.
And you have to just let that in, and you have to stop resisting that it is the truth. You witnessed it with your own eyes.
Yeah, it's
and so
true.
a lot of these people, they're just resisting.
Mm-hmm. I have actually gotten a few people to go watch that speech, and I'm proud of myself, actually, because it's the people that I care about. You know, I've lost a lot of, I don't want to say friends, just people that I was friendly with in the past, over the past 20 years of my adult life. You know, a lot of these people I've been acquaintances with, but they clearly got triggered. You know, there's that emotional defense mechanism that feels like I said, I'm going to vote for Trump, and they were like, boop, you're now suddenly evil, everything about you I know is wrong. You are the worst person I know now. And I'm like, nothing's changed. I'm still the same me. I still care about you. I still want everyone to be happy and like, don't. And that's what bugged me the most. It's that the hatred and that mentality overrode my friendship with them. Mm-hmm. That I was like, you're throwing away my friendship. And it's like none of that mattered, you know, and that was kind of tough.
Yeah.
You know, but I did realize a lot of my core family members, a lot of my really good friends, they didn't let that come between us, and it was amazing. And actually, over the past 3 months, I'd say about 3 months, because that's 3 months ago is when I announced on Facebook that I'm voting for Trump, and you know, all my personal friends are on there. I have such a significantly stronger relationship with everyone in my life now.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm talking to my family, more of my family members than ever before. I have solid friends in my life where I tended to more just do my own thing for the most part. Mm-hmm. So it's been an awesome awakening in many different facets of my life, not just political. So I love it. I'm so grateful that I have, you know, opened my eyes to the truth. I haven't been to a Trump rally.
You need to go to a Trump
But
rally.
I want to go. I see, I've got my my Trumpy bear that someone sent me. He's cute. He's got a American flag cape. He's wearing my MAGA beanie. For someone said, they said 30K likes and Carlin will throw on the MAGA beanie.
I'll wear the MAGA beanie.
She's totally down. I think that's a lot of likes.
Well, I mean, they've got to rise to the occasion, man. It's up to you guys. I will
know,
wear the
that's
MAGA
true.
beanie.
So that's fun. I do want to give a shout out to Frederick. Happy birthday, buddy. Turns 30 today. So I just want to say happy birthday. And so that's fun. But yeah, I mean, walk away. That was a really fun rally today.
It was so fun. What I love about Walk Away is it's so positive.
Yeah.
And I think that's honestly the best part about leaving the left for me is it's like, I feel so much better. I feel so much happier, and the people that are around me are happier.
Yeah, it's like they convince themselves that hate is normal, that racism is normal, that that victimization is normal. Everyone over there is a victim. They're always a victim of something.
Right.
And it's like, you're letting yourselves be victims.
Right.
Instead of figuring out how to not be a victim. If they are a victim. I'm not saying they are. I think they're making it up in their head. Like, they're watching movies and there's always the bad person in their head. The antagonist is always there in every movie, in every story that they grew up watching. And it's always prevalent. So then there has to be that person in their life. You know, little do they know they are that.
Well, I mean, and you know, going back to psychology around this, there's actually very interesting studies about people who develop victim mindsets in different scenarios in life. And I think it's that they need to be a victim. This is about their self-construct and how much they love themselves and how much they value themselves. There's a series of studies, and these are controversial, but I absolutely believe them, of women who have been in abusive relationships.
Yeah.
Once they get out of those relationships, they're significantly more likely to jump into another abusive relationship. So why is that? Are they just unlucky?
Yeah.
Well, no. It's that they've actually become comfortable in that reality.
Interesting.
And so if they are not the victim, that actually makes them feel uncomfortable on an unconscious basis. It's not something we're fully conscious of.
Right.
And so they jump right into they create situations where maybe they go to the seedy bars to pick up the bad guys that they picked up the last one at, or what have you. And it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy until they consciously break themselves out of it. And so when I look at what's going on right now with all these kids, and I'm going to call them kids, A, because I'm old, but B, because they are actually kids,
yeah, right.
Is they're comfortable in a world in which half the country is racist. And, you know, for me to discover that racism was not as prevalent as I thought it was based on what people were telling me, I was like, how great is that? That's a better world. I don't want half the country to be racist. Fantastic.
Good news. Yeah.
And they're like, no, everyone is racist. I was like, okay.
Oh man, like that book, White Fragility. You read it,
Oh,
right?
God.
Don't even get you started on it.
I'm going to start having a twitch.
Well, I gotta say, thank you for reading it.
I took one for the team.
You did. I did not read the book. I did follow you through your adventures of the book. I couldn't even watch everything that you were saying about it because it was so cringy, and it made me realize I don't need to read it because it doesn't apply to me.
No.
It feels like those types of people, they are truly racist.
They really. She admits she's racist in the book.
She admits in the book that she's racist.
She's like my black friends forgive me of my racist tendencies because they knew that's just the way I was socialized. I'm like, lady, like if you are literally uncomfortable going to a potluck with black people, which is something she actually writes about in the book, you are a racist.
That's terrible.
And the thing that bothers me is so many people have eaten this book up.
Yeah.
It's like actually crazy. And, so many organizations are assigning this book. They're paying Robin DiAngelo tens of thousands of dollars to come and do these trainings. She's laughing all the way to the bank.
I'm sure she is.
And it for me, it's really upsetting because I really do care about the well-being of people. It's part of why I entered this profession. I get emails all the time from people who have seen my white fragility videos or saw what I did on Twitter when I documented the book.
Yeah.
And they said, Carlin, I was forced to read this book by an employer or what have you. And I thought I was a racist, that I could never be redeemed until I saw your video.
Good for
and
you.
I learned that I was okay.
Nice.
And that to me those have been some of the most, heartbreaking and also uplifting emails at the same time, because how many people have been forced to read this god awful book that actually believe they're racist when they're not.
Yeah, when they're not. Especially when she admits that she's racist.
Yeah.
So she's writing this book from a place and a perspective of a racist.
Yes.
And to compare, one person. She's one person. Mm-hmm. She does not represent me. She doesn't represent you.
No.
She doesn't represent the whole, especially when she admits she's racist. It's like I refuse to admit any sort of, thing like that, because I was always raised character is underneath the skin. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has everything to do with what you do. It's actions speak louder than words. That's always what I've been taught. And anyone can earn my respect. Anyone can lose my respect. And that has nothing to do with skin color. And the fact that she admits that that's the case, it's like that book to me is null and void. Yeah. It's like, all right, well, I don't need to read that. You clearly are someone who's racist, and I don't approve of racism. And if I find one of my friends a racist, well, I haven't yet, but they wouldn't be my friend for very much longer, because I would probably snap at them and be like, what is wrong with you? Why are you feeling that way? Like, I can't believe it,
Well, but you know what Robin DiAngelo would say to you?
What?
Adam, that's just proof of your white fragility. And proof you need to take my training workshop to undo your inherent racism.
Oh my gosh. Well, first off, I'm not fragile. I'm very strong in my convictions. I love who I am. I love my friends. I love the people that I've come in around, and I wish well on everyone. Mm-hmm. So I would laugh at her if she tried to say that to me, because she doesn't know who I am. That's her, again, a racist, that she's admitted that she's a racist, projecting on me and on everyone else. Did you remember when the African American History Museum released that article on whiteness?
Yes.
Do you remember the picture? It was like a meme of like, what is whiteness, and it was like timekeeping, working before you play. Man, there's so much individualism,
yep.
All this stuff. It's just like a self accountability, like basic, civil human being stuff. It had nothing to do with any sort of race. You know who wrote that?
Who wrote
in
that?
1990?
Who?
Take a guess.
Robin DiAngelo?
Yes.
No kidding. No kidding. I didn't know
Isn't that
that.
insane? Yeah, I found it out later.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
but
well, I mean,
wow.
she's been
This
spouting
woman,
this for a long time.
I swear to this woman has got karma coming to her.
Oh man,
I
seems
can.
so.
And the thing of it is too, and this is a rather oversimplistic way to look at it, but even just looking at her and people that do the same thing, they look evil to me.
You know what? I don't even know what she looks like.
Oh, she looks evil. She straight does.
I'm gonna look her up.
Oh my god. But I find that of a lot of the social justice warriors, I feel like they look at least 10 years older than they actually are. They age very quickly because they're so angry all the time.
Well,
and
she doesn't look too angry. You know, here she is here. She looks kind of smiley a little bit. I don't know.
Those are older pictures. She looks evil now.
Actually, you know what? In this in this picture, where is it? She kind of looks a little.
There she is.
I don't know. She's like, I'm gonna tell you. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm seeing there. Like, oh yeah, whoa, you're wrong. You're fragile. Yep. And I gotta correct you in your ways. It's like, oh gosh. Yeah, so that's a whole mess, that whole thing. Yeah, so I can't believe that how mainstream it's become.
I just don't understand it. I think that's the thing that confuses me the most about this, which is why is it so appealing to people?
Yeah, why?
I mean, why is it so appealing to a mass quantity of people to want to hear about how you're a horrible person?
I think I know why.
Why?
We kind of mentioned it earlier. People want to blame something.
Yeah.
They want that. That's the reason everything's so wrong. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, then it's easier. If that's the one thing, of course, it's never the one thing, especially when it's so wrong. And that's that right there. She's spouting the wrong thing. She's perpetuating the division of everyone in America. We're all Americans. We need to come together and be Americans together and not divide us by races and different ideologies. It's like I have a feeling if you took everyone aside and just had a conversation with them, not wearing a MAGA beanie, wearing like grayed out clothing so they don't know what your affiliations are, and you just had a conversation with them, I bet every single person would wish well for others.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I don't understand how we can't get to the root of that. It's always this, man, I don't know, anger kind of takes over. It feels like you talked to me about this a long time ago, about people being addicted to the emotion of anger, right? Why don't you embellish that a little bit?
Yeah, so people can get physically addicted to emotion because you think about it, anytime you have an emotion in your brain, what it does is it triggers different, depending on what emotion you have, it triggers different hormones and things to come into your body because our brain tries to help us out. And it says, okay, I'm going to help your body to actually physically feel the emotion that you're having in your brain. Now, the easiest way for people to kind of understand this is think about what happens when you have a nightmare.
Okay.
Right. So just imagine you just had this horrible nightmare. You're running through the woods. You're being chased by an axe murderer, and you wake up. What's your body doing when you wake up?
Maybe probably sweating.
Sweating.
Yeah.
Maybe shaking. Maybe your whole body is tense. Your heart is pounding.
Yeah.
Did you just run a 5K?
No.
No, you're laying in bed.
Right.
So your body is reacting to what is going on in your head.
Right.
So, and this happens all day, every day, with every single emotion that we have. And it's why it's actually really important for people to do what they can to try to keep their mood up throughout the day, no matter what's going on, because your body is going to experience what's going on in your head. So now let's take anger. Okay. If you are angry all day, every day,
sounds terrible.
It sounds like a miserable way to live.
Agreed.
But what your brain is going to do is it's going to send those hormones into your body so you feel angry. You feel like, I want to fight something all day, every day. Now, in the workplace, which is usually where I teach these things, let's look at an example. So say someone's in the workplace and they have their boss that just makes them angry all the time. And every time they see their boss, they get fired up. What happens when the boss goes on vacation for like 2 weeks? Like the first day, the person's feeling good. They're like, oh, this is so great. The boss isn't here. The second day, they're feeling good. The third day, they start to get a little twitchy. Why? Because they haven't had their fix. They are literally going through physical withdrawal from having those hormones. And then what they start doing is they start creating problems where no problem existed before. They like start to get mad at their coworkers, like, why didn't you put a smiley face in that email? Or like, you know, why didn't you write it like this? Or and they start just creating problems because they want to be angry. Because when they're angry, guess what? Hormone hits them and they're like, ooh, got my fix, I'm feeling good. It's the same thing as an addiction to cigarettes or coffee or sugar or whatever it is. And so what I think, and one of the most troubling things about what's happening to me is we have all these kids that are addicted to anger.
True.
And they're constantly going around. This is why the protests weren't ever going to stop. I was not surprised when they didn't stop, because they never were going to, because they need that fix.
Yeah.
And there's never going to be a solution. And that's where a lot of the mayors in these cities are really missing the boat.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there is nothing that you can give them other than to say no and to force them to go cold turkey.
That's true. Yeah, wow. I mean, and it's crazy. They're on day 86 now, I believe, in Portland.
That's insane.
Yeah,
they're going into suburbs.
God, and they're not letting people sleep. They're going, and there's probably kids in these houses that are just trying to, like, I mean, they're kids. I mean, I obviously I'm jumping to a little bit of a conclusion there, but you think about who lives in suburban areas, it's families with kids.
Right.
So, man, this addiction to anger is really a threat to society. You know, we have to cut it out, but at the same time we're still learning how to adjust our lives to the internet. You know, the internet is something that was never a thing. It's basically the new telephone. You know, when the telephone was developed 130 years ago or something like that, I don't know exactly when, right off the top of my head, but there was an amazing switch. All of a sudden we were communicating across the world. We can connect, and you know, we didn't have to send ravens or riders. Boom, instantly I can call you and be like, hey, there's an oil spill, we need, you know, or if there's a fire, we need, you know, firefighters here, and they can actually show up and put the fire out. You know, so now we have the internet, which is connected us all while also making us more divided than ever. But people can find their hate groups, and they thrive in these little bubbles of the internet. So the internet isn't this all-expansive thing for everybody. You know, there's a lot of people find their little bubble and then live in that little bubble of the internet. And how do we pop those bubbles?
I mean, people have to want to do it.
That's true.
And that's also, I mean, there are so many terrifying things about this scenario, but if people don't want to change, they aren't going to be able to. They aren't going to be able to open their mind, because,
absolutely right.
I mean, and the cognitive dissonance that we keep talking about, I mean, I think, you know, when someone is changing their mind, and I think you experienced this, I know I experienced it, it messes with you when you first start to wake up and you first start to red pill and you first start to see everything. And, you know, even something as simple as, you know, say going to a Trump rally and saying, oh, the people here are not Nazis and white supremacists. Like,
they're actually a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
And they're all happy.
But for the average person that hates Donald Trump with every fiber of their being, that's going to create incredible cognitive dissonance for them. And they're going to start questioning, like, if I got this wrong, what else in my life did I get wrong? And so it's a lot easier to kind of stay in that bubble than it is to break out of it, because the minute you do, you're questioning everything.
And it's exhausting.
It is.
It's exhausting to start, you know, but it's funny because I don't feel like I've changed.
Yeah.
I feel like I just didn't pay attention. And then when I decided to pay attention, you know, 6 months ago, I just started, was like, oh, I'm going to pay attention. Oh, actually, I actually am in tune with more a conservative base of America. I'm not necessarily conservative, because there's some liberal things that I tend to lean towards. But, you know, seeing what Trump is doing and understanding the reason why he's doing things and really getting to the nitty-gritty of those kind of things, I'm like, actually, I'm very in line with a lot of this stuff. So I don't think I changed. I think I just opened my eyes and saw it all. And I think you're right. I feel like people don't want to do that because it's scary. First and foremost, it's scary. Change can be quite scary. You know, I've moved around a lot in my life. You know, as a model, I would constantly do different jobs. I'd be traveling to Europe. I'd be traveling. I'm changing my environment all the time, so I'm used to change. So it's not so shocking to my system, I guess, you know, whereas someone who grew up in the same place, never has all their same friends, who all believes the same thing that isn't necessarily the truth. It is the mainstream media that they're used to. So that scariness that I may have felt is exponentially worse for them, because they could lose all their friends, their family, you know, their whole world perspective would have to be changed, and that's crazy. Yeah. So, but that just makes me think of Carrie Smith again, with what she wrote. She wrote about how it's amazing how, you know, there may be someone in the crowd that throws a rock. This is about the rioters, but it raises the threshold of confidence for the next person to throw a rock. And then that, when you see two people throwing rocks, then the rest of the crowd that might have a even higher threshold to not do that will then start throwing rocks. And then she goes on to saying it's the same on the other side. Like, we don't throw rocks. We got to be able to speak out. So the more any one person speaks out, it raises the threshold for the other person that's going, you know what, I believe, I agree with that. I'm going to speak out too. And I think, I really feel like that's happening nowadays. I get a lot of people that are hitting me up that are saying, I lived I'm going through this, what you've gone through too, you know, because it was very public, my red pilling, you know, my awakening, because you just go watch AdamCastIRL. I mean, it's kind of like a 6-month span when I was on the show. You can literally I go from ignorant liberal Democrat to full-blown Trump supporter, and, you know, eyes are open, never to be closed again, because I'm never going to let go of that. So how do we get that? That's really the question, is how do we, I'm not trying to make everyone a Trump supporter. Right. I don't, that's not necessarily what I want, but I want everyone to at least look everything up themselves. Stop going to one news source or trusting the memes on Facebook for your news. You know, what's the answer, you know?
I mean, I feel the same way you do. I don't really care if people vote for Trump. I think the thing that I care most about is that people see what's going on. And I think that, I think one of the things we can do is things like what you and I are doing, with showing up and talking about it and going. It's why I'm going to these walkaway rallies. This is very important to me, and not just from the perspective of understanding that what the left has told you, and frankly, more importantly, the media. It's like, we're gonna hold you a show on how much the media lies to people. Yeah, definitely. But you know, it's not even just about that. It's about helping people to understand that when you express your beliefs, what you're really saying is, I have value. My ideas have value. Yeah. And so I'm kind of on this kick lately where I just want people to say what they think, whether it's for Trump or Biden or anything. Like, I just want people to be expressing themselves and feeling good about what they're saying, because the more you use your voice, that's an indication of how much you love yourself and how much you value your own ideas. True. And that, to me, like, that self-empowerment is actually the most critical part of this equation, because going back to the inner city schools in Baltimore.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. Yeah. Go ahead.
What they're teaching these kids is, you've got everything inside of you that you need to get through the day, to solve your problems, to work through conflict. You don't need anything else. Yep. And that's a lesson that a lot of adults today have missed. Yeah,
you know what it is? It's having that confidence in yourself. You know, when you can meditate. I've never someone to meditate. That's not who I am, but I see the benefits of it, and I can definitely see it helping children. I mean, honestly, parenting and I don't want to say and, because they go hand in hand. Parenting and teaching is the root of it all, honestly, right? I mean, if you think about it, we're not taught to have confidence. We're just taught history and math and all this stuff. And, you know, emotional intelligence is something that needs to be on the forefront of everything, because that's not what we're teaching. We're not teaching to be confident. We're not teaching to have empathy for others and how you affect others and how they affect you, and letting them affect you versus not letting them affect you, and, you know, having your confidence, keeping that. And now we're seeing these children look to famous rock stars or hip hop artists and celebrities that are just doing their job, but they're not teaching, but they're listening to what they're saying, and they're like, oh, that must be the way it is.
Right.
Or watching them in a movie, and they're going, oh, that's the way it is. And we have families that are not together. I mean, I feel like I'm getting a little sidetracked because that's how challenging it is. Mm-hmm. It's never so simple as to say it's this, so it's like these kind of conversations just need to happen all the time. So yeah, it's been good. So let's talk about relationships.
Oh, let's talk about relationships.
So you went to school for workplace relationships.
Well, it's general psychology, but with a focus on workplace relationships. Yeah.
Okay. And then you actually did that. You went to what kind of companies are you allowed to say?
I don't say names, but all different types of companies. I mean, from marketing agencies to finance companies seem to really like me for some reason. I never quite figured out why. Higher ed. I was specializing in kind of like small to medium sized businesses. So businesses like 250 employees or less were kind of my jam. Okay. Because I could actually get to know people and make change in the businesses.
Sounds like a pretty big company still.
Well, it's still pretty big, but it's not compared to like, you get like thousands and thousands of employees, and then you can't really even do anything.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, really, all different types of businesses.
Okay. All right. So, well, I really want to know, like, what's the craziest office thing you had to deal with? Like, give me something juicy. What do you got?
Oh God, you should have prepared me for this question. I had to think about it. I think the craziest things were around different. Well, I had to coach people through different offices where they had started romantic relationships with people.
That's always what it is, isn't it?
Oh my God. And then there were love triangles and all this stuff. And it's like, guys, like, you need to stop bringing this stuff to work. And I really wish I could just like smack them all upside the head to say, stop bringing personal nonsense into the office. Yeah. Because then you get into this thing where they're all lying about each other and gossiping about each other behind their backs. And like, then you've crashed an entire working group because two people were dating and they broke up. Yeah. So it's stuff like that was really the most troublesome to me.
What do you think about being, like you said, and then they broke up? I always think about this because I have friends that stay friends with their exes. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I'm not friends with my exes. I don't really talk to them much, but it feels like we're in this day and age where being in a relationship, for one, is more important than almost anything else. Mm-hmm. And that's weird to me, because it's like, shouldn't we be focused on furthering ourselves, like with a job or with, our community? Pretty much like with a job, like, what do you want to do with your life? That's on the back burner. Like, we need a relationship. Being in a relationship has been so normalized that, now we have, teenagers that's like their main goal is just to be in a relationship. Obviously we have drives that, mm-hmm. want us to get with the other, whatever you're attracted to. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. But it's like, it's so weird that that's kind of the norm now. No one's really talking about that part of it.
I think, you know what I mean? Also, especially for a lot of women, mm-hmm. right around the time they reach 30, and if they aren't married, it all becomes about getting married and having that perfect wedding and all this stuff. And so there's actually studies on this to say that the more expensive your wedding is, the more likely you are to get a divorce.
I mean, oh wow, really?
Yeah, for real. Because it's all about the wedding. That's what what they're getting married for. It's not about their relationship.
Well, you said by the age of 30. I mean, I have 3 sisters, mm-hmm. and I know for personal experience they were dreaming about their wedding long before the age of 30. I mean, I remember being, like in my single digits, my aughts years, mm-hmm. and hearing my sister talk about her like wedding, and like, that's weird. Yeah. Looking back at the time, I didn't think about it because I was a little 8-year-old or whatever. And, but now I'm looking back, I'm like, man, that was the norm. Cinderella, the Disney movie, you think about at the end of the movie, she finds the man of her dreams, and she was just a maid, and now she's got this amazing, crazy wedding. Mm-hmm. Every little girl's dream now. Yeah. And it's like, they're like, you can do anything you want. Women can be scientists, which I totally believe.
Yes.
But that's not what they're being taught from the get-go.
No,
you know?
Because it's all about appearances. Okay, I have a fun wedding story though that I want to tell. I think
you'll
get a kick out of
it
because I did not have a big wedding.
No,
I had a
Neither
wedding. My husband and I, and I'm actually married to a dude. I know everyone thinks I'm a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian.
It happened today a couple times actually. Someone called you out.
Oh my god! But yeah.
I think it was a joke though. I'm not really.
Oh no,
sure.
It's not a joke. They all actually think I'm a lesbian. It's okay. But I am married to a guy, a wonderful guy. And when we got married, we rented a log cabin in the White Mountains in New Hampshire.
That sounds nice.
It was awesome, and we just had family over. No one was dressed up. I didn't even wear a real wedding dress, but I was always had an aversion to weddings. I always thought they were stupid.
All right.
But I was marrying an immigrant, and we were trying to get him a green card, and so I had to have a legit wedding for the green card interview.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, if I have to have a real wedding instead of the Vegas elopement I've always dreamed of, I'm going to mess with every single guest at this wedding.
Oh, do tell me about it.
So our wedding was on November 5th, which is Guy Fawkes Day.
Yep.
And so
remember.
The stick was, in order to get access to the premium beer cooler, you had to wear a V for Vendetta mask to the wedding.
A Guy Fawkes mask, nice.
And so we had
wonderful.
the ceremony. Oh, it gets better. We had the ceremony outside, and it was just a justice of the peace, and we were looking over the crowd. Everyone's wearing a Guy Fawkes mask.
Nice.
And we had a friend dress up as an old Ukrainian lady because my husband is from Ukraine.
Right.
So his family didn't make it to the wedding, but we had someone dress up as an old Ukrainian lady.
Wait, hold on. Before you move on, describe an old Ukrainian woman.
Just like a babushka, with all these shawls and stuff, and then wearing the mask on top of it.
All right.
But it was a male friend, and so he did this. And so when the justice of the peace asked, "Does anyone have any objections to this marriage?" He goes, "As Victor's mother, I object." And then the justice of the peace jumps down off of where he's marrying us, runs over, says, "That's not Victor's mother, that's old man Dave from the amusement park," and pulls off the mask and chases him away. I had a Scooby-Doo objection in my wedding.
Movement. Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
That was my wedding.
Did you know that was going to happen?
Yeah, we planned it all.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I was dying. I was like, the whole ceremony was not about getting married to my husband. It was actually about me waiting for the Scooby-Doo objection.
That's wonderful. You're like, that was the peak. That's the reason you got married.
That's it. It's all downhill from here.
Oh, that's funny. When was the first time you thought about getting married, though? Were you a kid? Were you a teenager?
I don't know. I mean,
did you always want to get married though? I'm just curious.
I think I always did, but I think as I got older, I was like, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay. And I knew I wanted to marry my husband on our second date. So for me, it was like, it was a very easy decision.
It was like that, huh?
It really was. I knew he was the right guy for me.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm. She's over there smiling. I felt the same way when I met my wife. Yeah, she really is. It was something that I've never felt before. It was so easy.
Yes.
And in all of my relationships this is actually a good, because I'll bring it back around. I felt like I had to change myself a little bit. Even a little bit. In the past there was always a relationship that I felt like I needed to change myself a little bit because they didn't like me the way I was, or that I felt I needed to cater to that person. And I always found that in the end I was always like, why do I do this? Why do I keep trying to be in a relationship where I know it isn't going to work? Because as soon as you try to change yourself or try to change them also, and maybe I'm guilty of this too. I'm not going to say that I'm not guilty of that, because you always oh man, if you were just a little more like this, you wouldn't annoy me as much, or something, whatever. Like, everybody's guilty of this. But it was the first time I didn't feel that way. Like, I truly feel like it can be me, and it feels wonderful. And I could tell that the way she's smiling, she feels the same way. And I know she does, because we've talked about this many times, And how is that?
It was exactly the same way. It was like, I didn't have to pretend. I didn't have to be someone I wasn't. He loved me just the way I was. And I mean, the same for him. And I think that's, I think you bring up a good point, because I think that's where a lot of people go wrong with relationships. And that could be romantic relationships. It could be friendships. It could even be.
Good point.
Yeah. Where they try to force it. Mm-hmm. And these things should just be natural, and you should always just be able to feel comfortable being yourself.
True that.
And the minute that you start to have to change yourself for someone else, well, resentment is naturally going to come up as a part of that.
Absolutely. I mean, you make a great point, though. everything's a relationship.
Yes.
You and I have a relationship.
Yes.
You know, and it's felt very smooth. Very, you know, I don't have to change myself. You know, I as I've grown older, I've realized how I really love myself. I love who I am, and it's really important to learn who you are and learn how to love yourself. And it feels like a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
They don't know how to look inward and face the realities of themselves. And it's easier, like we were saying earlier with the walk away thing. It's like this cognitive dissonance of I can't face that, because then I'm going to have to rethink everything in my life.
Right.
When they don't realize how freeing it is actually to really face yourself and go, I'm actually not so bad. You know, I do love myself. I can be happy. I don't have to be angry. You know, I think a lot of the problem is people are looking at others for the blame. You know, that they want to blame other people. They want to blame something else, not necessarily even people. They want to blame the system. They want to blame the police. They want to blame the bully in high school or whatever, instead of realizing that those people, for one, aren't thinking about them anymore.
No.
Ever. That no one's thinking about you until you. The more you further yourself, the more you love yourself, the more people are attracted to that kind of a vibe. You know, if we gotta. And that's why I keep going back to the inner city in Baltimore. Yeah. Those kids are learning how to love themselves. That's why suspensions are 0.
Yeah.
Because they're realizing that they are sitting there meditating on inward, looking at themselves. What did I do wrong? How you know, it's like defunding the police. You know, I'm bouncing around a little bit, but that's all right. Defunding the police isn't the answer. It's starting at the root. It's starting at the core there. Teaching people to love themselves. Teaching people to, you know, look inwards and face their inner demons. You know, and I think that we're slowly cracking the egg shell. You know, the shell of what's going on.
I do think so. And I want to add one more thing onto that, because it's not even just about loving yourself.
Yeah.
Like the person that you're in the relationship with, and again, that could be romantic or business or friendship or whatever. They need to not try to change you as well. Because and I think that that's a lot of what's going on in our society right now, is so many people are trying to change other people.
Yeah.
Because fundamentally they aren't comfortable with something about themselves for some reason. Like, I am completely comfortable with myself. I've done so much inner work. It is insane.
No, I can tell. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, it's very apparent. And that's why it's very easy to watch you and listen to you, because you're very authentic, you know, you're upfront.
Yeah. And I have no desire to change anyone else. Like, I can only focus on myself. I can only change myself.
Yeah.
And so the minute that I start trying to change other people to suit me, well, that relationship is going to go sour, because what if the other person doesn't want to change? Or what if they resent me for it?
Yeah.
And it just makes no sense. And I think, you know, what meditation teaches people, and why I'm going to get you to meditate at some point. I will do it.
I know she's over there. She wants me to meditate.
Yeah.
I know. I need, honestly, I just got to do it. I got to just do it. I'm sure it'll help.
I'll send you some. There are different ways you can get into meditation.
Okay. Yeah.
But the thing of it is you learn to focus your energy and attention in the way that it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And you learn, again, that you have everything you need inside of you. You don't have to change for anyone. And the minute you really have that realization, and it is like, that's why meditation is so great, is like all of a sudden you're doing it and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here. I just have my eyes closed, whatever. And then all of a sudden it hits you. Yeah. You're like, oh, this is why this works. You know?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love this. This is great. I feel like this is the kind of stuff that, I mean, we're doing it. You know, I just saw someone say, "Just do it, Adam."
Yeah,
I will. I'll try it. I'm definitely gonna meditate one
Meditation
day.
2020.
So, meditation 2020. Yeah. So.
What else you got to do? I mean, come on.
I know. Well, I can pick up knitting.
You could. I'll teach you how to knit too. Well, knitting is very meditative, actually, isn't it?
Of course. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh man, but it actually is.
Walked
very
right
meditating.
into the trap.
Well, you know what? How I meditate.
How? Oh.
I play guitar. I write music. When I play music, I'm pouring my emotions into it. It was my journal for a long time. A lot of my music books that I've written songs are songs that no one will ever hear. They were written for me to get out painful memories, any kind of thing that I was dealing with. It was my journal. It was my meditation. It's, I could sit and play a song, and will totally lose myself. I'll stop thinking about the things that are bothering me. I'll stop thinking about the people that are bothering me or whatever, and it'll help me disappear. And I guess it goes two ways, because people can listen to music, and if a musician is doing that, I mean, listening to specific musicians in my life, you can tell when they disappear into the music. Like Jimi Hendrix pops into my head, like he's one of the first musicians that I remember listening to that I was like, that person is lost 100% into that music. And you could tell when he stops playing, he's like, oh yeah, hello, I'm back now. So I do feel like I have meditated, and it's my own form of meditation, so I should probably try to just do. What would you describe meditating for me? What do you do?
You can
for
meditate
meditating?
in lots of different ways. I tend to do it. At this point, I can just meditate by closing my eyes. But what really helped me at first was guided meditations. Okay. So around whatever you want to work on. So it could be about having more self-love or confidence, or attracting more money, or whatever. Like, there are guided meditations for anything.
So it's like YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube or Spotify, or there are all sorts of great apps out there where you can find different things, but you can do them sitting, you can do them laying down. I actually have been doing lately walking meditations, which I think are interesting, because walking meditations, you're kind of like wearing headphones, you're listening to someone walk you through it, but it's about walking as the person that you want to be. So you're putting yourself in that future state of saying, here is who I am, here is how I walk, here is how I interact with people. And I'll tell you what, I went to this one meditation retreat. A lot of one of my favorite meditation teachers is a guy named Dr. Joe Dispenza, because he does a lot of neuropsychology, and he measures the effects of meditation on the brain and all this stuff. But I went to one of his retreats in Santa Fe a couple years ago, and one of his things is helping people to do physical healing through meditation. And there was a gentleman at this retreat at the beginning of the retreat where he was in a wheelchair. He couldn't walk. I mean, he was doing all the exercises, but he was definitely not very mobile. Yeah. By the end of the week, we were doing a walking meditation where we basically went on a path in the woods, and I saw him at the beginning, and he wasn't in his wheelchair. He had someone following him with his wheelchair, but he had two canes, and he was standing up. He was just taking one foot in front of the other. He was going very slow, and I passed him at the beginning, and I passed him again at the end, and he was marching. And he had held his two canes, and he was carrying. I was like, dude, you did it. Yeah. Because he was walking as the person he wanted to be.
That's really awesome.
And it really did help him. And I mean, that's the power of it. It's not even just about perspective. You can actually make physical changes in your body through meditation.
Well, what is that saying that we were talking about earlier, where you put your attention?
Yeah.
What is it?
Where your attention goes, energy flows.
Yes. Exactly. And that is very true. We talked about anger. If your attention is going to that anger, that's what thrives. But if you want to do a YouTube show when suddenly your life has a change, and you have to go ahead and do it. And that's why I'm here right now, and it's like, that's where my attention is now, and it's working. And and now I have an awesome guest, and thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic.
No, this is great. I love this.
Yeah. So let's get into some super chats. I see a lot of people have been super chatting us. Thank you, everybody. Please subscribe, and you can actually follow Dr. Carlin. I put her little tag there, Dr. Karlyn B on Twitter, and you're also just simply Carlin on Parler. On
Parler, Gab, and Minds. Yep.
Carlin on Minds, Gab, and Parler.
And then Twitter, obviously I couldn't get my first name.
Right.
It's Twitter.
Right. So, but the Dr. Karlyn B, what is your YouTube channel also?
My YouTube channel is, if they just look up my name, it'll come right up. I think it's youtube.com/Dr. Karlyn Borysenko.
Okay.
I started it for workplace stuff. So.
Well, and her full name is in the title. Here? I don't know exactly
somewhere.
Where. So right below, you can see her full name. You could just copy and paste it into the search, and I'm sure your channel will pop up.
I think I'm pretty much the only Karlyn Borysenko on YouTube. I'm pretty sure about that.
Well, now I'm curious. Do a little searching to see. So let's see what we got here. Lambdacor says, you play the warehouse demo for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. I'm hyped AF. I don't want to say the words, but you know what it means. Keep up the great work. I did play the warehouse demo. It's pretty cool. It's good. It feels like a classic. It feels like exactly what I remember the game. I don't know if you
No, I have no idea about this.
Video game chat. Joel and Faith, thank you for the super chats. Sydney goes, I won't troll tonight, Carlin. Means a lot coming from me, as you know. Do you know Sydney fine? I don't know.
I do know Sydney.
Oh,
thank you, Sydney.
Thank you, Sydney. Appreciate you. Cassius and RG, thank you for becoming members. And if you notice, you can hit the join button and become a member below. It really helps me grow my channel. I really appreciate it. So thank you for that. Curtis says, smash it. Yes. Love you, man. I love you too, Curtis. Let's talk about prepping. Says, prepare for 2020 round 2. No, don't. No. What? No. What? Why? No. Let's not go there. Shakiri says, the heart of the spin. You know, I really need to get something to spin.
You do.
I'm so used to
spinning. It shouldn't be a UFO though. You need to get something original for yourself.
This is pretty cool. Someone on the show the other day super chatted something at me. They said you should get an atom.
It's a good idea.
A spinning atom.
Yeah.
With a T, ATOM, and spin the atom, and it would work on multiple levels.
I think you should.
I like it. The man behind the screen says, good evening once again, Adam. Hope you, Carlin, and Trumpy Bear are well. He's cute, isn't he?
Trumpy Bear's chilling.
Dude, he is chilling. Look at him. He's got the most relaxed spot on the show. Jeb, thanks for becoming a member. Renee says, finally got to watch live during keep doing you, man, and good luck on your journey. You're one of the main reasons I was able to walk away. Awesome.
Yay!
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm proud of you, you know, being able to seriously just not even walking away, just opening your eyes and seeing what's happening. That's what I would love for more people to do. Roto, thanks for the super chat. Jorgen says, love the show, Adam. Keep spreading the good vibes, boss. I will do that. I promise. Rust Davey says, free Julian Assange. Yeah, I don't know much about him, but I mean, he just kind of let people know more things. I don't know. That's I'm sure there's more to the story than I know. So, Frankie Blades, thanks for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Faith says, was able to go to the rally today at the last minute.
Yay!
Loved hearing you both speak. You both killed it.
Yeah.
High five.
High five.
Nice. So that's cool. Well, thanks for coming by, Faith. That's really nice of you. And thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you. Kevin says, 2 powerful voices.
Yes.
All right. Hey there. Since you both come from left backgrounds, what behaviors on the right do you see are beneficial and should continue? What are ones that are unhelpful / bad that should cease? Praying for God's blessing on both of you. Thank you so much. Do you want to...
I have absolute thoughts about this.
Go ahead.
Okay. The ones that are on the right that are really good is the right is such an open, welcoming, loving community. And I do genuinely love that. Like, it was so easy for me to leave the left. And I mean, frankly, it's probably one of the things that helped me become a Trump supporter, too, because I was not a Trump fan at all at first. But then the right was so nice. And I was like, what are they seeing that I'm not?
So it wasn't even really Trump. It was more the base.
It was more the base for me. It was always more the base. Yeah. Because I mean, Trump is like just not like, I think Trump is hilarious. I think that he's very good. I trust him on the economy. I like what he's done. I like some of the things that he's done. Mm-hmm. But there are things that I really don't agree with.
Yeah.
But I mean, compared to the alternative, he is like miles ahead. But it was the base that made it possible for me to see that, because I was like, these are all really nice, good people.
Yeah.
And if they're seeing something like they're on a mass scale, they're not in a cult. True. They're not brainwashed. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's good. Now, what is not good about the right, and we saw this today at our rally that did not have the turnout that I wanted it to have, is they don't show up. They don't speak up. They're scared to come to like things like we do with the walkaway rallies. Some of the rallies, don't get me wrong, we had a rally in Beverly Hills that was over 1,000 people.
Oh wow. Right.
It was amazing. We had a great turnout last week in Milwaukee.
Okay.
And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed today. I wanted to see Philadelphia turn out a little bit more. We had great people there and they were awesome, and every single person was fantastic, but I wanted to see a couple hundred more people there, and I would wish the right would start doing that.
That is a good point. You know, a lot of people, this is something that we've talked about on the show, and I always get a little annoyed because they were both just like, yeah, you got to speak up. Like, how dare you not, you know, voice what, you know, don't worry about getting fired. Like, you know, think about the kids. And it's like, most people on the right have a lot of people riding on them. They do support a lot of people. They do work hard. That's why they're conservatives. They are conserving what the jobs that are there. Where you look at who the left are, it's like it's a lot of people that want socialism. They don't want to work as hard. They want to have things given to them, and it's like that's not how life works.
Right.
Most people are busy working. I know some friends of mine personally that have a lot of people that they provide for. Full family members. That they have one job, and if that one person, my friend, lost his job, their whole family would be screwed. So like I can't blame them. I can't. It's something that I definitely agree. It would be better if more people came out. I mean, it was a Saturday. Who knows? People can come out. Granted, it's a blue city.
Yes.
Philadelphia is Democrat for the most part. It's Democratic. It is a Democratic mayor, right? I believe. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
I'm sure.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah, that's true. So I agree. And I have felt nothing but love. I mean, mostly from a lot of you, my fans that have followed me here, and got my back when I started donning that beanie that Trumpy Bear's rocking now. It's like I feel the love. I definitely. I think you nailed it. I think the right. I can't name something that's bad other than the fact they don't show up.
Yeah.
And it's not that, but the thing is they show up to vote.
I hope they do, man. I think the silent majority is real. I think, I've especially become convinced with the walkaway rallies and seeing people come out. And, also one of the things that I do because I want to encourage people to speak up is that when I'm in a place where I have to wear a mask, I wear a MAGA mask.
Yeah.
Because I'm annoyed that I have to go through this absurd exercise of wearing a mask. And if I have to, I'm going to wear the most annoying possible thing to the Karens that I can.
You got it with you?
I do. I think it's over there somewhere.
Okay. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's a legit MAGA mask. It was so I don't even know where I was going with this. Oh, to encourage them to show up. But I gotta tell you, I get so many compliments on that mask.
Do you?
Every once in a while, something negative happens. Like I get evicted from a hotel for no good reason.
We didn't talk
about the hotel story. It's on my YouTube channel.
Go check it out. It's a pretty funny story.
It's more funny for you than it was for me. I'll tell you what, my friend.
It's true. It's pretty funny for me, and probably for you too. Check it out.
In retrospect, I'm sure I'll find it funny. But I want to encourage people to speak up because I want people to see that it's really not as scary as they think it is.
Yeah.
I get so many compliments on that mask.
Yeah.
Far more than I get like evil looks or people getting angry.
Well, I feel like most people are good people that just want this. I don't know. This lie that most people are racist inherently. They have no choice but to be racist, and it's like that's so not true. It's just ridiculous. So.
Yep.
Let's just well, thank you, Kevin. Though that was a good little side thought there. Snark Victory says it was great meeting you two today. Great speeches. Name your guitar Vera. Firefly reference. Oh man, I haven't seen Firefly. You ever watch Firefly?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Back in the day.
I'm kind of surprised. It feels like you would like Firefly.
I had a lot of friends that watched Firefly, and I remember I watched like the first episode. I was like, this is stupid.
Okay, moving on. Cassius says, I'm from NorCal, about an hour north of Shasta County. We are freedom-loving patriots. We do not co-sign on the decisions our state is making. We are the F around and find out type. Yeah, I've been saying this for a long time. I feel like there's going to come a point where a lot of these Antifa rioters, they're going to mess around in the wrong area and meet some people. I mean, we're already seeing it. It's already happening where they're meeting people that are like, get out of our town. And it's happening. And it's like, and so far it's been relatively, I don't want to say peaceful, but not violent. I'll put it that way instead. So I feel like we've gotten lucky. And these people have gotten lucky.
I keep telling my husband, I'm like, if civil war breaks out, at least we're going to be on the side that has the guns. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Reveresco says, love you both. Thank you for this stream. Their ultimate goal is ultimate power. They don't want to dialogue. They want you to shut up and just go along with their agenda.
Yes, I agree.
Yep, nailed
100%.
it. Yep. Chisholm says, I've spent the last 10 years working in emergency medicine and feel very confident in making my diagnose of Vauch's condition. He is indeed a wanker.
Yeah, Vosh. Okay.
What's Vosh? What is that?
Vosh is a socialist on YouTube that is obsessed with me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He's like behind. I'm okay. I'm gonna qualify this. I am 95% certain that he's behind a stalker Twitter account of me that tweets as me every single day.
Oh.
He's done reaction videos to my videos. He I called it a discussion, but I think she called it a debate with Shoe on Head this past week, and it was like,
was that not you?
Well,
was that you?
I was talking with Shu. I was with Shu.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right. I haven't seen that one yet, but
I knew Vosh was part of the impetus for this because he desperately wants to debate me, and I will not do it because it would give him way too much satisfaction.
Okay.
So he got her on my channel, and whatever. So yeah, we have a little feud. I'm way cooler. Everyone wants to hang out with me. No one likes you, Vosh. Okay.
I got to hang out with her before you did. All right. Thanks, Chet. I appreciate
was going to hear about this. It's going to cause problems for me later.
Sure. Well, sucks for you. Lisa says, good show. Thank you. Thumbs up. Julie says, please watch John Stossel YouTube about education. All right. I don't know about it. You know John Stossel? I don't know anything about it, but thank you. David S. says, good conversation. Indeed, it has been a good conversation. Indeed. Buggy the Clown says, Trump 2020, do you watch anime? Not really. The only anime I ever watched that I really liked was the movie Ninja Scroll. I don't know why that resonated with me. My buddy said, hey, let's watch this movie. And I watched it. I was like, that was awesome. Mm-hmm. And it was, I think it was just because it was like one and done instead of like, here's an entire series of this anime that you have to watch for, I don't know, a year or however, most of them are so in depth. So I tend to not watch much anymore in general. Julie says, nope, I already read that one. Sorry. Spencer says, keep it up. You are getting into a better groove. More to come. Thank you, Spencer. Yeah, I'm getting comfortable here. I honestly love you guys. You're seriously the reason why I'm here right now. I love being on stage. I was always a musician, so I'm very comfortable being on stage. I really enjoy interacting with the crowd. It's so much fun. I actually forgot how much I loved it. So thank you. Crash says, how much money is the RNC putting into #walkaway? Were you paid to appear at the rally? I was not paid. I think he's just doing it on people can donate to help move it along, right?
That's exactly right. I have not been paid for any walkaway rally. The only thing I get is a per diem when I'm traveling places to pay for things like my Uber and my food. Okay. But really, it's like not that much. But no, I mean, I think everyone that does walkaway rallies, we do it because we want to do it. Brandon doesn't even take a salary from the organization. Brandon's sole income, so far as I understand it, is from speaking engagements that he does.
Oh, wow.
Because he wants to invest every dollar back into the organization.
Brandon, what a great guy. And no, I wasn't paid. And I seriously, just like she said, I personally, I like to just speak for myself. I wanted to be there. Thank you for making that happen. Because I do owe a lot to Carlin for pushing that along and hitting Brandon up and saying, hey, you should get Adam on because he walked away himself. So I really do appreciate that. And actually, Nishra filmed it all. So I have a film and a professional audio of it, so I'm gonna release it. I'll probably put it on my channel so you can check it out and see for yourself what we were saying and what we were talking about. So, yep. Let's see. Matthew says, what does Carlin's husband think about the change she went through?
My husband is actually pretty thrilled because, like I said earlier, my husband is actually more conservative than I am, which is actually, I find generally to be true of immigrants in general. They tend to be more conservative. But also, I mean, my husband loves that I'm doing YouTube because he was always more into YouTube than I was.
Okay.
And so he's like just tickled by this whole thing. He loves watching it. And so he's having a good time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Mark says, my university it cut all co-op positions with police and prisons. They receive private and public funds, yet did not consult the students. Universities should not be participating in political discourse. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I met Chandler Crump for the first time today. Amazing guy. He's a 15-year-old kid. He's a kid still. He's a teenager. I hesitate on kid because I feel a lot of becoming an adult is mental as well as physical. It's like a they go hand in hand, and he's a smart kid. He knows what he's a smart guy. And so when I see this, it's like universities should not be participating in political discourse. I agree with it and I disagree with it. I feel like politics in general should be a part of the conversation, in everyone's life. I don't want it to be, well, this is school, so we don't talk politics at all. I feel like anybody that lives here, lives anywhere, should be aware of their politicians and what they're doing and like the political system, because it doesn't matter what you believe. The political system still and will always make the laws that you live under, those laws. So everyone should have at least a general knowledge of that system. So, I think political discourse is absolutely a must. Maybe not in the way that it is now. Mm-hmm. The fact that people are shoving it down people's throats, one ideology, instead of going, this is all of the things that are happening. It doesn't matter what you believe. So they're teaching the wrong thing. I think that's what I'm trying to say. They're not teaching like the actual truth of politics. They're teaching what they want people to believe. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I think that the problem with universities is not that I don't think they should be involved in politics. I mean, I think that people should do what they want to do. But I think insofar as what they're teaching to students, they're not being upfront about it.
Yeah.
And they're not following what they should be teaching. If you're in a math class, you should be learning math. Not 2 + 2 = 5 math, but like actual math.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what they should be doing. And if you're not going to do that, well, at least be upfront about it. Like, this is a social justice class where we're going to teach you how to be a little protester and activist. Mm-hmm. Well, fine. Okay, then anyone can sign up and take that class. But what if I just want to take English?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or history without, a bias. So, yeah, I mean, that in itself is a discussion to be analyzed, So Mystic Styles says, thank you, Adam and Carlin, for making it rain red pills. Trump 2020. I don't know what that is, but from Arizona, right on. I see the Arizona State. I think that's ASU, right? Or Arizona State. Maybe it's Arizona State. I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Isn't that the same thing?
I think it's the same thing.
Arizona State University, ASU. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what's the other one?
University
U of A. The
yeah.
U of A. I think that actually is the U of A in Tucson. I may be wrong, but I may be right. It might be crazy.
Who's to say?
Leia White says, hi, Adam.
Oh, I love Leia.
Oh, you know Leia.
I know Leia.
What up, Leia? How you doing? Well, if she knows you, then you're cool in my book. Hi, Adam and Carlin. Just wanted to say hi. I'm in California, surrounded by fires. FYI, they blame Trump because it's federal land that's burning, but not sure. My goodness. Of course they're blaming Trump.
Trump is responsible for
everything. He went
everything.
and took a lighter and lit up the flames. Well, thanks for that. That's hilarious. Of course, right? It's not even a surprise anymore. Becca says, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. P.S. There are a bunch of trolls in chat. I don't know what to do about it other than should I just ban them? I guess we can. I'll have to do something about that. Check it out. Thanks for letting me know. Riveresco, Reveresco. I always get that name wrong, but you're constantly super chatting, so I appreciate you. Crocheting as I watch. Loving this so much. All right, so there you go.
I don't know about those crocheters, but
Whoa. Just take the W, all right? Come on. Goodness.
Fair point.
It's just as meditative as what you're doing, okay?
I guess.
Don't make me throw some raisins at you. For those who don't know, I'm going there.
Oh.
She made this post about how if you like raisins, it's akin to terrorism.
You're basically a terrorist if you like raisins.
And I don't know how I feel about this. Because it's not like I go out of my way to eat raisins.
Raisins are disgusting. They should not be a real food. I don't know why people eat them. People like you perpetuate this insanity. It's basically as bad as being an SJW.
I got nothing. I like raisins in my glug.
Well,
I told
fine.
you about glug.
I know, and I'm scared to try it.
Glug is delicious. Shout out to my glug drinkers. It's a Swedish mulled wine kind of thing.
Sounds great.
Quite delicious. Well, you don't have to have the raisins in it, but I would totally evilly drop some in your glug.
Of course you would.
Ben Jennings says, have a beer on me. Sending love from Colorado. Thank you. The show is great. I can't wait for more deep dives. Yes. Next weekend, the Karl Marx deep dive. I'm going to do my deep dive on Karl Marx. So tune in next Saturday. That's going to be a good episode. Garrett says, I'm 17 years old, living in California. I just want to say thank you for being a liberal who is MAGA. I'm going to be a jazz professor, which means a leftist environment. How do I speak without being canceled? That is a good question. I hope we can get over this hurdle of not being able to speak. We kind of played a little bit into it, how I was saying how I feel like we're kind of getting over that hump of it being such a norm that you can't even be honest, about certain things before you just get canceled outright. And it's a sad place to be, honestly, where we are. But I do feel like it feels like more people are speaking up. I mean, you and I, for example, we're there. We're here right now talking about this kind of stuff, and I'm still here. Hopefully I stay around. But I won't stop. So good luck. I appreciate you, Garrett, for, I clearly you want to speak up. So, I wish you well. Fatty says there is proof that the Biden speech at the DNC was pre-recorded. John Cardillo shows a magically appearing watch and a disappearing lapel pin. Interesting.
And no one is surprised by this.
Not only was it potentially, I don't know, allegedly pre-recorded, but it was the same speech from 2008.
Yep.
Did you see that comparison?
I didn't see the comparison, but it doesn't surprise me.
Oh my! And actually, Biden has a history throughout. If you look back I looked into Biden. I watched his old speeches, the old things that were going on about, what did he do? What did he do? And it was like all this racist stuff. But one thing was prevalent: digging on plagiarizing other people's speeches.
Really?
Oh, that worked. I'm gonna use that, and that's gonna be my speech. And there was a Canadian, I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was a prime minister or what the man was. He's passed on now. But it was like an old speech. And I guess that parts of Biden's speech were plagiarized from this prime minister from Canada and from his own speech from 2008.
Oh, Biden.
Biden.
But it's not Biden. It's a speechwriter.
Which one? The one from 2008?
Who knows? But Biden is not...
I think it could have been Biden from when he was actually of sound mind, when he could actually speak coherently.
Yeah.
Maybe he did write it, but he does have a history of copying other people's speeches. So, hey, J-Mag, what's good? I saw Carlin and Shu's discussion. I'm glad it remained fairly cordial. I think there's just a disconnect from people and how they view the world. And that discussion really pointed that out. Interesting. I got to watch this.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because, what it boiled down to is there was a fundamental disagreement on what's important and what's not and how to approach different topics. So she was essentially trying to convince me that socialized healthcare, free healthcare for everyone is an absolute necessity. And I was just kind of like, I just don't think that it is. I think there are a lot of ways to approach healthcare. And it was one of those things where she was trying so desperately to change my mind. Yeah. And I was just like, no, I'm good. And so, I mean,
I hear what you're saying. I'm listening.
Yeah, I just don't agree.
Yeah, I don't agree either. I mean, I tend to my health. I try to eat healthy. I tried, and I see a lot of people that don't care about their health, and they let themselves go and, eat terribly and not, processed foods and whatnot. And it's like, you got to think that, like dental work, right? Let's just take dental care. You can compare it to dental work because that's not normally covered.
No.
You have to get dental insurance because specifically you have to take care of your teeth or they rot.
Right.
So if you don't take care of your teeth, that's why getting insurance, like normal insurance, never covers dental. It is like a separate thing because you have to take care of it. So that's kind of how I look at healthcare. It's like people aren't taking if they're not taking care of their teeth, they're probably certainly not taking care of like what they eat and being healthy or exercising. It's that is a huge part of being a healthy human. So when we have universal health care and my personal taxes are paying for this other person who doesn't care about brushing their teeth, I'm just using the dental thing. Right. That's my main argument with it, Yeah. And I used to be for universal health care.
I was too.
But the more I thought about it, the more I'm realizing, really thinking about it, it's like, well, then I'm paying for this person.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I kind of have issues with that.
And my big thing, too, is I don't know what the solution to healthcare is. I want it to be more available. I want it to be more affordable. I was actually on Obamacare for a little while, so I understand how messed up that is.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, the thing of it is like, we can't even have discussions about it right now.
True.
Like, we can't have people coming to the table with ideas, with an open brainstorm to be able to solve these things because everyone's just at each other's throats. That is the problem we need to solve right now.
Absolutely. It's a battlefield. Everything's just this, like, good versus evil. You're evil because you don't believe what I believe. It's like, well, I believe you're evil because you don't believe what I believe. And it's like, that's every single thing. Everything. It's like, guys, like,
stop.
Everybody wants everyone to be happy. Mm-hmm. I certainly do. All right. Kirena Varez. Sorry. Oh, wait. Here we go. Kieran Alvarez. There it is. Sorry. Great show. That sort of SJW bully behavior is what creates a silent majority and red pills more center people. People don't like seeing that. Yeah, they don't. Who likes a bully?
No one.
No one wants to be. I mean, who knows who wants to be a bully? I think for the most part, no one wants to be a bully. Josh says, thanks for having the doctor on. I love watching both of your channels on YouTube. Awesome. Thank you, Josh. Josh
thank you.
All right. Bubblegum, thanks for the super chat. Salty Carmen says, keep it up. Thank you. Mage Raid says, I was at a walkaway rally today. Got a quick pic with Adam and Carlin. Was great meeting you guys. Wish there was more time to chat. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I gotta say, I met so many amazing people today. A lot of people were coming up to me saying, Adam, like, so great to meet you. And it was so amazing. So I really thank you very much for everyone who came out today. It meant a lot to me. Six String Therapy says, awesome show. Loving the guest format. Really glad Carlin was the first guest.
Yay.
Keep up the great work. Love you both. Awesome. I'm really happy that this was, what a great conversation.
This is like perfect. Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed it. I got to come on your show now.
Oh, no, you have to. Absolutely.
Boxer Tail says, love all that you do and your hard work. Love Tom MacDonald's new lyric. They consider bacteria life on Mars when a heartbeat on Earth isn't. Jesus is love. Yeah, Tom MacDonald. That's who we were jamming on Tom MacDonald on the drive back here from Philadelphia, and I was like, oh, you don't know Tom MacDonald? Boop, turned the volume up. I was like, yeah, you gotta listen to this guy. Man, he dropped some truth bombs. Yes, he does. Joseph says, smash the like button for the MAGA beanie, or just for me, or for Carlin.
Yeah.
Smash it. Sounds good. Also, super happy that Carlin is on your show. Totally breaking the work rules not to miss part of tonight's show. Oh, thank you, Josh. That's great. I love that. Breaking the rules. Corny says, remember you vote for a candidate and their policies, not for a tribe and their colors. Yes, exactly. And research who you're voting for. And remember, you're voting for so much more than the president. Everybody is involved. Korjan says, Adam, you are a legend born on the back of Hilux Baki. I don't know who that is. You know what that is?
I have no idea.
Well, I guess that sounds like a good thing.
We'll go with it. You're a legend.
I'm going to go with it. So I'm a legend. Thank you very much, Korjan. Appreciate that. I wanna find out what that is because I don't know. Patriot 814 says, you say everyone convinces themselves that they're the victim. That's exactly how Karl Marx was able to do what he did, and look what that produced. You're absolutely right. And actually, did you know this about Karl Marx? He got canceled.
Really?
Yeah, he worked for a newspaper company in his early 20s. And he didn't like how there was a monarch system. Funny enough, we don't have a monarch system in this country. Anyway, I'm going to save that for next time.
Wow.
But so he was complaining about it in the newspaper, and the monarchy shut him down, shut the paper, and got him canceled. So he actually got canceled. Karl Marx.
It explains so much. Everything is now coming together for me.
I know. When I read that, I was like, oh, of course. So that's pretty funny. Tim M says 9K viewers and only 6K likes? How dare you? Actually, wow. I mean, we're almost at 10K likes. So listen, smash that like button. Let's get to 10K for Carlin.
Yes, for me.
For Carlin. Tracy says, hello from Florida. R. D'Angelo just projects her issues onto others and doesn't have the presence of mind to realize it. Ugh.
Yes.
Ugh is right. Texas.
Don't you just feel sick every time we even talk about her? I really do. I feel physically sick.
Well, you kind of had more of a personal connection because you actually read the book. Thank you. I don't have to read that book. I have zero interest in it. Texas, thanks for becoming a member. Frankie says, I read White Fragility, and it inspired me so much that Nick Cannon is now my doctor. He counted my freckles and said I can't beat COVID, or that I can beat COVID-19. Zing.
All right.
Nice. Gay Dad's Bear says, racism is a collectivist idea. Lumping all groups of people together is how collectivists think. Individualists judge people individually. Yeah, it's all a perspective thing, you know? Nick Naylor says, I don't see how feeling uncomfortable is an unfamiliar culture, potluck, makes you racist. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean you hate it. Again, it's all about the individual person and how they take it and how they... I mean, there's so much, you know, the culture they were raised in, the individual people that helped them become who they were, and, you know, the different things that they integrated and pushed onto their kids at the time.
Well, and again, what he's referencing specifically is something Robin DiAngelo said in White Fragility.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, because there's an actual story in which she was going to go to a potluck for like a coworker, and it was like in those parks where you take over like the picnic tables or whatever, and there were two potlucks going on, and one had majority black people and one had the majority white. And Robin DiAngelo, when she was approaching, and she does write about this in the book, talks about, what if I have to go to the black person potluck? And
what
feeling
if?
Uncomfortable. Well, exactly. So,
Newsflash, Robin. They're awesome people.
Yes.
Everyone's awesome.
Is fine.
Like, what? Gosh, that projecting much? Like, goodness sakes. Sorry to cut you off there.
It's okay. I understand. I got you.
Goodness sakes. I can't stand that kind of attitude that people have. It's like, I don't know why people are giving her so much credit. Jim Hoover says, being half Latino, guess which race and political party accepted me on my merits and not my race in my 51 years? Racist equals Democrats. Yes. Absolutely right. I'm guessing it was the Republicans that said, come on over. Stupid Monkey says, hey, Adam, love that you're forging your own path. Will you play music at the end since Tim isn't playing on Friday anymore? Oh, he's not playing music on Fridays anymore? That's a shame. I'll absolutely play a song for you guys. Definitely will. Clarence says, all these brutal words are hurting my nervous system. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you got to do as an adult. Talk about the words. I'm assuming there's some sarcasm in that.
I'm hoping so.
The Box Hobo says, Robin looks eerily like Mother Gothel from Tangled. Mother knows best. I've never seen Tangled, but I'm assuming she's the evil mother of the movie.
I just had a flashback.
I'm jumping to conclusions. What?
Did you ever see the old like Flowers in the Attic movie?
No.
From the 80s. Well, it's a movie about like how this grandmother locks her 4 grandkids in the attic for years on end. But I mean, she looks like that mean, evil grandmother, and that was just what I was picturing.
Okay.
There.
Interesting. All right. So Giorgio says, if so many people want to think racism is one problem, then what are all the real problems these people are displacing?
I know.
Go ahead. You want to go for it?
You know what problems they're displacing? The fact that they hate themselves, they have no self-confidence, and they're looking for everyone else to validate their existence and their self-worth rather than doing the work themselves. That is the problem they're displacing.
I wish I had a mic that you could just drop. I mean, but education system, unions that are outdated from a time that, you know, we really needed them to a time of now it needs to be restructured. There's countless things that like no one is out here saying that America's perfect, but America is a place that we can take the thing that is wrong, like certain things that we've had that were legal before that are now illegal. Slavery, for example. Women not having the right to vote.
Right.
Segregation. Civil rights that we've put into place. Like, clearly we have the documents written to fix things, to make things better. You know, let's not go back. There's plenty of things, but racism is not one of them. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It exists, but it's significantly less prominent than what they want people to believe. Farstepper, thanks for becoming a disciple. Shigan Ram, thanks for the super chat. Russ says, free Julian Assange again. All right. People are really pushing for that. Farstepper says, hi, Adam. Love you and Tim. Wish I could actually talk to you both about a podcast / gameplay. YouTube video about some things about social media and other platforms about suppressing people's posts and shares. Yeah, I mean, and you can actually check out my website, AdamCrigler.net, and I have an email there that you can contact me if you'd like to send me some information. Alchemy Mind says, we need to use word social justice in new ways because the left, like shoe on head, are all compassionate. We need to reframe.
Well, I think I have thoughts on that. So I think that it's incorrect to frame the left as the only ones who are compassionate. I think the left and the right are compassionate.
Yeah,
we just see different. Well, I'm not even on the right. I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
But they just see different solutions to the problem.
Correct.
And one of the beefs that I have with Shoe on Head is that she thinks that the very best thing you can do for someone is just give them free stuff, that's going to make them happy. Free healthcare is going to make them happy. Free college is going to make them happy. And that is decidedly not true. In fact, sometimes the very best thing you can do for people is to make them work for what they want.
Yeah.
It's going to mean more to them. It's going to have more value. It's going to be a lot more fulfilling. Is it going to be harder than getting it for free? Well, sure. But that's part of the point.
Working for a living.
Dunk it.
You know, there's a reason humans has taken over this world, because we're determined, we're hard workers, and that's how we've got here. We couldn't get here if we didn't work hard. We've gotten here because of hard work. And all that hard work that's built this world up is the reason why people that can live comfortably and at ease. People forget about the giants we're standing on. Fightin' says, hey, Adam, your energy is sorely missed on Timcast, but so glad you're doing your own thing. Take my money. I will happily take your money and gratefully take your compliment. Thank you very much. Alchemy Mind again says, it's for the policy direction, not the person. Left is Marxism and loss of freedom. Vote other side to keep freedom. I 100% agree with you there. Susan, thanks for the super chat. Karina says, keep it up. This is so healthy and so needed. Yeah, I agree. And we had such a great conversation. I might even just keep the whole podcast up because it was a fantastic conversation. Chris says, your guest has a good message. Yes, she does.
I tried.
Yes, she does.
Thank you.
Jim Hoover says, Dr. Martin Luther King is rolling over in his grave with the SAWs and the BLM. Content of character is lost. Yeah, it's a shame that, I actually heard someone talking about him, and they were talking about being violent is the only answer. And I was blown away. I was like, you're referencing Martin Luther King Jr. while saying that you have to be violent? Did you read anything about the man? He said peaceful protests is the way to go. You have to be peaceful or your message is lost. And guess what? Their message has been lost in the violence that is now taking over the world or the country.
Well, I mean, even more than that, they don't even have a message.
Exactly.
They don't even know why they're doing
what is your message?
Yeah.
Well, we want to defund the police or justice. And it's like, okay, you can get that in a much less violent way. They're just becoming... That's it. They're just addicted to the violence now. Brandon says, I'm ready to learn about the birds and the bees from Adam. Oh, okay. Hey, now. Calm it down. Whew. All right. Goodly Moogly says, awesome show, Adam. Love you, brother. Keep up the great work. Carlin, thank you so much for speaking out. You're amazing. Much love to you, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Chris says, like Zoink Scoob. Like Zoink Scoob. It's pretty good. Your wedding.
Oh.
That's funny. Preston says, best guest ever. Thank you.
Yay. Only guest, but that's okay.
And only. So technically, you're also my worst guest.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, hey, semantics. It's fun to play around with. J9, thanks for the super chat. Let's talk about, oh my goodness, I just had a jump. I have to find where we were. Oh my goodness, where were we here? Sorry, everybody. I just had a crazy jump. All right, let's talk about Preppin says, mods needed. Spam chatters, it's a major nuisance. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. I don't want to be getting rid of people. Sometimes people are, hanging out, and It's hard for me. Obviously I want to pay attention to my guests, so I'll have to work on, moderating. Aaron says, Trumpy Bear. Yes, he is. He's sitting behind me. He's got my, he's keeping my MAGA beanie. Seventh Night of Knee says, Dr. B would look smoking hot in a 50s housewife / June Cleaver cosplay outfit.
No.
Hubba hubba, wink wink.
No.
What do you think, Adam? She's over there just like, no, don't do it. I'm just going to keep moving.
Good man.
Reveresco says, you become what you are focused on. Yes. Focus on negativity, become negative and angry. Focus on positive, and you become positive and open.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
Absolutely.
It's true.
Exactly. 100%. James Coleman says, you should talk about flow state, being in the zone versus meditation, benefits versus cost, and so on. I mean, I feel like they're very similar, aren't they?
They can be very similar. I mean, flow state, a lot of people associate flow state with just like really things they loved. Like when you talk about playing music and how you get lost in music, you're going into flow. So there's a great book about this. It's actually called Flow. Everyone should read that book. But no, I mean, it is a little bit different, but I think it's also very similar in that you're just allowing things to come through you. And that's what it feels like when you're in that state. You're just allowing whatever energy you believe in to come through you and to do its thing through your music, or I think it can happen with video games or knitting or what have you. And
so how is that different from meditating?
Meditation is, it is similar in that you're trying to release and allow things to flow through you, but meditation is more that you're closing your eyes and you're going inwardly, whereas is in flow, you're actually doing something, you're producing something.
Okay.
So it is slightly different.
So they are the same.
In terms of like what happens to your brain, it can be very similar.
So the meditation is more all internal.
Yeah.
Keeping it internal. And
in meditation, you can go into flow as well, where you lose time. Like you think you're meditating for like 10 minutes and it ends up being like, an hour or something like that. Yeah. So it is similar. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I got to say it's 10.
Wow.
We have gone over, and she actually has a hotel all the way out in Philadelphia. So we can't, I can't go too much longer. So I'm going to have to, I apologize. I would love to read all your super chats, but I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. But seriously, thank you everyone for hanging out with us tonight. I'm still going to do that. I'm still going to play a song because I promised I would. So just want to say, if I missed your super chat, I do apologize. So thank you. Fightin' says, hey, Carlin, I admire how you handled your live chat with Shoe on Head. I was frustrated that she couldn't comprehend half of what you were saying and that she couldn't articulate her arguments well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fundamental disconnect is she was trying to convince me to see the world her way, and I was just trying to explain my position. Yeah. And, I mean, it's one of those things where I talk about you can only control yourself. I can only control what I was giving to that situation. I couldn't control her, and I didn't really necessarily want to try.
Yep. Good call. Good call. Well, good on you. I got to check that out.
Thank you.
Mrs. Alice says, hey, great show. Well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that. Chrissy says, hi, Carlin.
Hi. Oh, Chrissy. I know Chrissy. Yeah.
Chrissy, 1687.
Chrissy comes to my Tuesday show with Joshua.
Oh, cool.
Which you said you want to be on. We're going to have...
I'm going to be on there.
Yeah,
we're going to read my stars.
We're going to do your astrology chart and tell you your future.
I want to know my future.
It's going to be great.
I'm really excited about that. So Chrissy, you'll check us out over there. Hatchet, thanks for becoming a member. A super fan. Wow, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Charlie N-Word says, hi, guys. I got dumped tonight because my girlfriend could no longer handle my anxiety and agoraphoria. Agoraphoria, is that fear of going outside?
I think so.
Of public spaces?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you have any tips. I'm also prescribed medication, but terrified to take it, feeling very lost right now. Charlie, obviously it sucks that, you lost her, but if she can't handle the person you are, then maybe she's not the right person for you. That's my first initial take of this, because your anxiety that you feel and your agoraphobia that you have is part of who you are, so it feels like you need someone that might want to help you feel more comfortable in handling those things and letting you, helping you get there instead of just going, I can't deal with this. So just my personal initial instincts of what I just heard, I think it's for the best. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think that when it comes to breakups, and this is good general advice for everyone.
Yeah.
When it comes to breakups, not all relationships are meant to last forever.
Yeah.
Sometimes relationships are meant to last for a period of time to help you, learn and grow or give you that support that you need in that time. But it's not supposed to be a forever thing. And I think anytime we have a breakup with someone in our life, it's about looking back on that and saying, you know what, this is the best thing for me right now. And it might suck. I might not understand what happened. They maybe became a different person, or they don't want to be in this relationship anymore with me. I'm going to love the time we had together, but now see myself as moving forward in a positive direction. Because if you don't keep yourself moving forward, no one's going to do it for you.
Boom. I love that. Very true. It's all about looking to the future. So I wish you the best, Charlie, and you're not alone. Remember that. Never alone. Villa Music Dude says, been following both of you for a while now. Did you guys see that Jack Dorsey donated $10 million to BU in association with Abram X. Kendi to create an association to influence media and institutions about racial justice?
I was so angry at this.
I could hear that you...
BU is my alma mater. I loved my time at BU. I'm so angry at this.
Yeah.
It's like...
it's perpetuating this thing that there's no need. It's just they're making it a thing. That's what this is. They're making sure. And then not only that, the left is saying, oh no, we need to treat people differently based on their skin color and what they believe in. It's like, I don't understand. That's not equality. You are literally you're segregating people.
Yeah.
Like, no, that I will never agree that that's a good thing ever. It just doesn't make sense to me.
And remember when I was talking about what people do when they're addicted to anger? They create problems where none exist.
Yeah.
This is literally creating a problem where none exists.
Boom. You're absolutely right. And look how comfortable life has been for the past. I mean, my whole life, I was able to poop in a toilet. I know you're laughing, but that is something that we take for granted. Think about that. You have to go to the bathroom. What do? You go to the bathroom and you use it. You need some water. You go to the sink and you turn it on. I've been to places where they don't have either of these things. They don't have roofs over their head. They have to walk 5-6 blocks to just fill the water jug to both drink, shower, and flush away their excrements. It's like people have it so good. So I get frustrated when people lose sight of what we've got, and that's what's happening. People are so comfortable. They now, what is the problem? Oh, I don't know. I don't have anything to blame. I got to blame something. So now they're doing that. It's life's racist and I'm oppressed. And it's like, go to slavery for example is still very prevalent nowadays.
Oh yeah.
There's more slaves right now on Earth right now than when America was founded. I'm dead serious right now. You look up the statistics. I should do a whole subject on this because it really is hard to know that and have these people being angry about them being oppressed when there's actual slavery going on right now across Earth. It's terrible. If you don't believe me, go ahead, look it up. Awesome Human says, divorce from my super woke progressive, the young Turk loving husband yesterday. Enjoy an unplanned donation from him from the settlement. Oh, I will happily take that. And honestly, I'm very happy for you because it sounds like you couldn't change him, so you did the next best thing, and you're taking care of yourself. So good for you. Al Dente says, do you think the far left has made Pink Floyd's movie The Wall come to life? Well, I gotta watch that again.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's been a long time since I've seen that, so I don't even know. Christine Miller, thanks for the super chat. It's nice to hear positive messages and balancing out the bad in one show. One thing a lot of right-leaning people believe that we should all be adults and make the world better by action is better than shouting aimlessly. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you're going to shout, at least have a good message.
Have a goal. Have a purpose.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is, but just know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and if someone asks you what it is, articulate it.
Yeah.
If you can't, you're not going to get them to get on your side. You got to do your research and know what you're talking about. So, Don, I already said thanks for being a member, but that's all right. Senator says, it's so great to see people walk away from the left. I am also a member. I voted Obama in 2008 when I was 18, but didn't vote again until I voted for my man Trump almost 4 years ago. Excellent show, Trump 2020. Chelsea, thanks for becoming a member. Appreciate you. Tice On says, help Carlin get to 100K subs before the election.
That's my big goal is I want to hit 100K before Election Day.
Nice work with the spin out, Adam. More content for everyone. Thank you. Yeah, that's the plan. And honestly, go follow her.
Yeah.
Type in her name. You could see on the title of the video. I think that might be it right there. I don't know. I still gotta figure out the base wherever. The name of this episode is literally her name. So you could just copy it and paste it in the search bar. Go help her get to 100,000. I can't believe how many subs I have right now. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much for subbing to my channel. I know a lot of you share my videos. That helps a lot. It's incredible. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Definitely. So let's help get her to 100K, yeah? Vince L says, I was apprehensive about attending the Beverly Hills Walk Away rally, but I was glad I came. Thank you for Carlin for telling Trump supporters they need to stop being afraid. Adam, spin the imaginary UFO. Nice. All right, I'm spinning it. I had a little air gun. Oh, you've seen that, right?
Seen it.
My little air gun. Well, all right. It's spinning. It's spinning for you. Thanks. Rusty says, longtime viewer, first time super chatter. Thank you. To use a Biden phrase, I miss you on, the thing.
The thing.
But loving the new show. Keep on rocking on. Thank you, Rusty. Thank you very much. That's why I'm on the show, because I missed you guys. I missed you guys. Our Willia says, we love you, Adam. Great episode. Great guest. Thank you, Carlin. Keep it up. I'm an American married to a Swede, too. All right. We are geniuses. I got to say, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good life. The Swedes definitely know how to live, don't they? Arthedian says, huge fan, Adam and Carlin. My question is, how would you go about talking to family members that are intersectionalists? I recently came out as being a conservative to my family, and it didn't go well. You want to feel like you might have a good...
I mean, I think that you need to go in with certain expectations. Don't try to change them. Just state your position. Say, here is what I think, and here is why I think it. And I think that that's really the best way to go about it at the end of the day, is don't have any expectation that they're going to change just because you had a conversation, but state what your values are and leave Trump out of it. That is the biggest mistake a lot of people make, because you can talk about your values, you can talk about things that are important to you without bringing Trump into it.
Good point.
And if you can hook them on the values, then that's a better shot at red pilling them.
Yeah, that's true. And oftentimes you'll find that your values and their values tend to be pretty similar. You know, that's the key. It's like, don't bring Trump into it. Let them do that work. Send them over to my channel to watch my Trump deep dive. I really learned a lot learning about his life, and you really get more of an idea of who he is as a person, the way he looks at life. And I feel like people don't do that. They kind of just, I know everything about him. I know exactly because the media told me how to think about him, instead of doing some research and learning the type of life that he is. Because most of these people in government, everybody in government over the age of 50, they grew up in a completely different time. And I'm not talking about, civil justice or like whatever justice and stuff. I'm talking about, we live in the internet age. They lived in an age of, you were in a small area and you just got up and you did work, and that was basically it. Everyone just kind of got up and went to work. That was what life is. Now we live in an age, there's so many more people. Even from 30 years ago, the population of the planet has skyrocketed. It's growing exponentially. It's pretty insane to think about. It's just a different world. We're in a completely different place. So, yeah, I think you said it right. Don't have any expectations.
Yeah.
You will always be disappointed. Ivy Metro, thanks for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Chaddison says, Arizonian here. I wanted to say GCU is better than ASU. Biden was never shown coming onto stage or leaving it either. Just filmed walking out to the fireworks show. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that it wasn't like. It seemed like all of it was pre-recorded. I don't know, man. I don't trust. I don't
who
trust
really
them
cares
at all.
either way? It's so contrived. It's all nonsense.
Nailed it. Yeah.
You know.
More rostral garbage says, "Aloha, Adam and co. Before the deep dive on Marx, check out the book The Devil and Karl Marx, unless you have already. Otherwise, have a great day." I haven't checked it out. I haven't, but I still have some more research to do. I have done some digging on his life. I know a good chunk about him, but I'll try to dig up as much as I can before next week's deep dive. Gypsy White says, this political shift in school started a long time ago. My first year in college in 1995, I had a professor that say 100% of black deaths was due to slave owners before 1865, but it was 100% natural causes post 1865. Nuts. That's red flag much?
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul C says, first ever super chat, greeting from Melbourne, Australia. Wow, shout from down under. Thanks, you both, for what you do. You have friends around the world. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Appreciate that. Tracy says, also crocheting as I watch. LOL.
Gotta get you guys knitting. Knitting is where
whatever.
it's at.
Yeah. Whatever. Knitting. Oh, that's funny. All right. DK6, hey, what's good? Thanks for becoming a disciple. Appreciate that. And Zernborg, thanks for becoming a disciple. Yeah. Hatchet with the hefty super chat. Thank you. I always have been a fence sitter when people are out there want to take away our Constitution for their own gains. I have a problem. Having Karlyn Borysenko on your channel is great. I'm going to go ahead and second that.
Yay.
Thank you for joining. Thank you very much. RC says, Adam, post-election, what do you expect the focus of your content will be? My content, I don't want to be a political commentator. Like our conversation today, it was political, but it also was, talking about, regular everyday problems that we deal with. I really like to analyze that kind of thing. A lot of politics all stem from those everyday problems that everyone deals with, so the answer is never simple. I would like to figure out what each facet of the problem is, and that's what my show is going to be about. At one side of it, the other side is I love talking about space. I just mentioned the population growth on Earth is expanding exponentially. We are exploding on this planet, and if we want to really figure out how to handle that amount of people, we have to have drastic changes, and I think space exploration is a big part of that. Occupying Mars, it's part of it. Oh wow, some members. Mr. Squiggles, thanks for upgrading your membership. Appreciate you. Never mind the bollocks. Thanks for becoming a member. Fisty and Matthew also. Thank you for becoming members. Casperius, I super chatted Timcast once. Now it's your turn. I'm honored. Thank you. Let's see. Farstepper again says, please play Citizen Soldiers or America the Beautiful. I do not play covers, but I will be uploading cover videos for members only. So if you're a member to my channel, I will be uploading some videos soon. I've just been quite busy this week setting my studios up, having arranging for a guest, starting my own business, starting a lot of things, building a website. I've been doing a lot this week, so as time goes on, I'll have more time to be able to actually upload some of those videos. So stay tuned for that. NYBSFP says, fellow BU alum, we should sue them for AOC. Out of town and missed Philly today. Please post videos. I will be posting a video. I took a video of the whole thing. Sam Ray GTR says, hey, Adam, do you have a watch collection? Also, I am currently making art for you and will send it to your P.O. Box soon. Awesome. Thank you so much. I don't have a watch collection. I'm actually allergic to nickel alloy, so I can't wear most jewelry. I wear one silver ring. I've had this ring for... my goodness, how long have I had this ring? 17 years. I've worn this ring. I had a guy on the side of the road make it for me. It's his name's Peter. Really awesome stuff. He's from London, and I walked past him every day for years, and I was like, dude, your art is so dope. Your silver working is great. So I finally got him to make.
It's a sick ring.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've had it for a long time. It's kind of like cratery, moony.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love space. So, Dean and Kay, thanks for becoming members. Appreciate you. And with that, we're the super chats are done. I just want to say thank you, Carlin, very much for coming on my show. Is there anything you want to tell everyone?
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you for having me. This was awesome. Like, you're such a cool guy, and you're so genuine and authentic. And I had such a good time with the conversation. If people want to follow me, Dr. Karlyn B on Twitter, Carlin on Minds Gavin Parlor, and subscribe to my channel because I want to get 100,000 subs by election day.
Subscribe to her channel.
Do it.
So. It's Saturday night, and I'm gonna play a song. I don't know what I'm gonna play, but I guess I'll let's do this. I don't know. We'll do what should I play, Nish? I don't know. So this is my my beautiful guitar. I love this thing. I'm gonna turn the mic up a little bit because I'm gonna try to figure out how to record a little bit better. I'll play Melancholy Hellhound. I think that's it's one of my more rockin' songs. I really love this song. This is a buddy of mine, Mitchell, actually named it for me. I couldn't think of a name for it, and he actually plays the bass to this song. So, nah, we don't have to set up a mic. Well, I don't want your money. I just want some wine. Yeah, give me some of your honey. I promise I'll take my time. Oh, welcome to the party. Try not to lose your way. Yeah, well, I find myself growing senseless to the pain. Yeah, you can scratch and crawl to figure it out, but in the end, you'll find me. Oh, well, I don't want your pity, and I don't want no lies. Yeah, life gets shitty. Oh, and then you die. Oh, welcome to the party. Try not to lose your way. Yeah, it was like trudging through the muddy waters. Oh, without faith. Yeah, you can scratch and crawl to figure it out, but in the end, you'll find me. Oh, well, I still get that feeling, yeah, of judgmental eyes. Only difference being, it's just not worth my time. Yeah, 'cause I welcome all the hearty. Yeah, it brings tears to my eyes. Oh, those tears remind me I'm alive. Yeah, you can scratch and crawl to figure it out, but in the end, it's just me. All right, everybody. Thank you all very much for that. I couldn't leave you without a song there, but it is getting rather late, and you've got a flight to catch in the morning too, right?
Flight. Yeah, I gotta go home
for
3 days, and then to my next rally.
To the next rally. Well, thank you again for coming on. It was such a pleasure to meet you officially today and have you on my show. It was great.
Yeah, and thank you, and we'll see you at future Walkaway rallies.
Yeah, you will, and on your show.
Yes, absolutely.
So come, stay tuned. I will be joining her on her show eventually, so you could tune in and subscribe to her channel. So thank you so much, and thank you all very much. Hope you're having a lovely weekend and enjoy the rest of it. So I'll see you next week.
That was fun.
Hell yeah, that was great.
Yay.
Jay likes.
Oh, that's great.